Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Do Rags here. I had too much fun with that. Okay, first things first, let us check, is the microphone working? Because last time the microphone was horrible. And everybody was like, "Oh no, Shady, it's horrible, but we'll deal with it." And I went back and listened to it, and I was like, "Nah, nah." So, is how's the audio for everybody? Is it good? I know I don't have the best microphone out there, but at least I don't want it to be like last time. I really don't want it to be like last time. Yes, yes, yep, yes, I hear you. All right, everybody's saying that the audio is pretty good. Okay, so getting this started. Welcome to this live stream, everybody. Today, I forgot to tweet this. Today, we're talking about Dr. Champ in the last video I did. I'm going to tweet this right quick. Give me a moment. I spent hours preparing this, and I completely forgot to tweet it out to everybody that I was going live. So, yeah, that's a thing. There we go. Hashtag Bojack Horseman. Streaming. Alright. There we go. Alright. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about Dr. Champ. And we're going to be specifically talking about the last video I did with Dr. Champ. A lot of people disagreed with me about what happened. And I want to get into that. Now, I want to jump back because there was somebody at the I don't have the comment up, but it was when the chat first started. They were wondering like, why am I doing this? Like I should just let it go that people disagree with me. I know that people disagree with me. I feel like I do have to reiterate the point of this channel is to have conversations. You've heard me say it 920 times, and I'll say it again. It's like a book club. We all enjoy the same media. We all come together and we all discuss it. Now, it's my channel, so I have the biggest voice on the channel, but I want people to discuss it, and I want to be able to discuss it with them. So this video is one of my ways of doing that. You know, people largely disagree with me the past video I did. So I think it's important to go and look at their comments and see why. Now that doesn't mean I'm gonna agree with all their criticisms. But I think the best thing to do when you disagree with somebody is understand where you disagree with, like get everybody's perspective, so to say. And that's why I'm going to be doing the comments live. You know, I respond to you guys' comments all the time, but when it's a large disagreement like this, like I did this with Tuka and Birdie as well, I do like to discuss it. And that's why I invite the chat. I invite the live chat because they can come up and say, no, Shady, you're still wrong about this. You're still wrong about that. Or they can say, I see where you're coming from, Shady. Also with the chat, I do try to engage with the chat, but we have a lot of people, so I try to read as many relevant comments as I can. But if you have a comment you just desperately want me to see, super chats are active, so you can go that route. That's pretty much the only way that I can guarantee that I'm going to see it. I am going to be reading the chat, but it keeps going, and I have to stop and talk about stuff. So, super chats are active. You can do that if you really 100% want me to see something, or if you just feel like supporting the channel, you can do that. And the usual support the channel links are in the description, blah, blah, blah. So, I kind of want to get to it. And by the way, how this works, because we do have a lot of new people. How this works is we have a central topic we talk about, and that's going to be Dr. Champ this time. We talk about that for a good chunk of time, and then after that, it kind of goes to a broader sense because people want to talk to me or talk about stuff that has to do with the channel or cartoons or whatever in general. So I do like to open my live chats to those kinds of discussions. But we're gonna stick with this subject first, and then we'll move on to those other topics. So let's talk about the video in itself. I am thirsty. All that talking. Let's talk about the video in itself. So, my video was... Let me get it up, actually. This one. Here we go. So, did Bojack ruin Dr. Champ's life? That was the video I did. Now, the point of this video was that I was asking, because a lot of people were discussing whether or not Bojack ruined Dr. Champ's life. And I saw, like, anytime any YouTuber said something about Dr. Champ, people would come and defend and say, no, Bojack didn't ruin Dr. Champ's life. Dr. Champ ruined his own life. All of that was Dr. Champ's fault. So I made a video saying, I think Bojack ruined Dr. Champ's life. I think the blame should go to Bojack, not Dr. Champ. And the overall reasoning was that Bojack forced Dr. Champ to face consequences. That was the overall reasoning. There were individual points throughout the video, but that was the overall reasoning. The main dispute seems to be with the whole vodka thing. The whole vodka water thing. That was a point I brought up, but I mainly brought it up because everybody else brings it up when talking about this subject. But it wasn't really proving my point. Like, I wasn't trying to make it prove my point. I even say in the video, that, even if you completely agree with me about the vodka water thing, that doesn't prove my point. I only brought it up because I knew everybody else was bringing it up and I wanted to give my opinion on it. The real part where debunking this video would be to look at the end, like the last 2-3 minutes of the video. All right, so I'm about to look at the chat and see what you guys have been saying, because it's been moving like crazy. I don't think Dr. Champ's life was ruined at all because Bojack prevented that by taking him to rehab. Well, yeah, see, when I say ruined, I'm talking about relative to the subject. Dr. Champ's life is in a pretty bad place, might be, according to him. We actually don't know what happened to Dr. Champ's life. For all we know, he immediately left that rehab, went back to his job, and everything was fine, for all we know. But relatively speaking, the point of the video wasn't that so much to say Dr. Champ's life was ruined. It was that the bad stuff that we think is going to happen to Dr. Champ, is that Bojack's fault or not? Here's 2 points you haven't mentioned yet. One, if vodka tastes different and all this is Dr. Champ, Bojack would have called him out on it. I don't believe vodka tastes different. I never said it did in the first video, and I even clarified in the second video that this was not something I believed, that vodka tastes differently than water. I don't think that's canon to... I think vodka and water have different tastes, and I think that's canon to the show, that vodka and water have different tastes. That's what I said. That was a clarification in the second video. 2, it might have been just a plot hole. Yeah, that's suspension of disbelief. That I brought that up. That's what I chose to believe. It was just, you choose to ignore that it might be a problem. Also, relapses can happen. If Champ got sober again, he can probably get his job back and have another way to relate to his patients because he also relapsed. Probably, yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily use the word ruined. I use that word because for simplicity's sake, just that it's better to say was Dr. Champ's life ruined than say did the bad stuff in Dr. Champ's life happen. Like that doesn't roll off the tongue very well. We know vodka tastes different from water because Bojack doesn't drink it. Well, the whole vodka tastes different from water thing is moot because I wasn't saying that in the original video. I wasn't saying that in any video. I was in the comments. I was defending it because I thought I said it. Everybody thought I said that in the first video. I thought I was saying. I was defending myself, and I was like, "Wait a second. They're kind of right. Water doesn't taste like vodka, and it's not really fair to say that it does. Why did I say that in the video?" And then I went and rewatched the video. I was like, "Oh, I never did say that. I'm defending a point I never made." One of the things I tend to disagree with you on is what is meant to be comedy. I think that Bojack throwing the bottle and Champ getting it is supposed to be funny and then got serious. I'm not sure how that's a disagreement with me. The second time Dr. Champ went and drank at the bar was his own fault. I'm not arguing that. I have an idea. In canon, Dr. Champ did say one drop would send him off the rails, didn't he? I still think Champ has to take responsibility. Thank you very much, Is that your name? I have an idea, or is that the message? Well, thank you very much for that super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Um, my thing went away. Come back. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. So go away. I can't see it. Dr. Champ is responsible for drinking. I'm not arguing that. It's whether or not the consequences to his actions should be placed on him. All right, so the chat is going by a little fast. I'm gonna jump back to the chat, but I'm gonna come over here to the actual comments so that I can keep my brain focused. So let's start with the not you. Go away. Let's start with here we go. Let's start with these are the comments from the second video addressing my previous video. Because there aren't a lot of comments in here. I won't start with this one. There aren't a lot of comments here, but there are some worth addressing. And I know all of you are going to be completely mature and ignore the recommended videos over here. I 100% believe that's what's going to happen. Hey, Shady Durags is live right now. We should check out his stream. Okay. So, mistake. Honestly, my opinion on who is right and wrong in this situation is that they are both in the wrong. Bojack is in the wrong because he screwed someone over because he was reluctant to let go of his past experiences. Dr. Champ is in the wrong because he decided to keep going down the hole he was in. One can make a counterpoint. Oh, by the way, this is from Yellow Jacket. Yellow_Jacket. One can make a counterpoint, both these examples, to say, well, they are justified because of X and he isn't because of Y. If one were to do that, we would all be here all day because there is an infinite number of possibilities of ways to look at situations where the conclusion is that Bojack is right and Dr. Champ isn't, or Dr. Champ is right and Bojack isn't. I don't see the point in arguing what is true or not because I see blatantly that there isn't anything right about both actions of these men, and whatever justification there is doesn't apply to me. I see the reason, the point of why Dr. Champ becomes this way is because of philosophy behind it. I think the writers are saying that if one man reaches out of the pits of depravity, there is one man that is... Shut up, phone! Jeez. All that preparing, I didn't silence my phone. I think the writers are saying that if one man reaches out of the pits of depravity, there is one man that is reaching in it. This basically ties into the message of the show that your actions have consequences. In this case, this is a good consequence. Because of it, Bojack was able to walk away from his past. The cost of being able to walk away from the past was Dr. Champ's sobriety. Well, I don't know if I would say that. I would say more so that the point was... See, the point to me of this whole debacle... It felt like Bojack was supposed to be held responsible because by holding Bojack responsible for that action, it makes him see that he's still going to mess up in some places. He's still going to mess up, but people aren't going to... he shouldn't keep that as something that is guaranteed to happen. So I don't know if I completely agree with this statement. Hopeless Peaches. I feel Bojack shouldn't have been reckless throwing a bottle of vodka onto the open premise of a rehab center. Like, nobody is talking about that. I'm not talking about that because to me it doesn't feel relevant. To me, the vodka water thing doesn't feel relevant. But I have seen some people discussing that, saying that, hey, Bojack throwing the bottle of vodka out is where this whole thing starts. And he really should take... This is why he should take responsibility for Dr. Champ. Thank you, by the way, for the £5. I think that's pounds. Really appreciate it. I kind of skipped that because most people were saying that it wasn't. Just because he threw the bottle out the window, it's not his fault because Dr. Champ should have known on the first sip. So that's why I didn't really bring that up. But I do know there are some people... Like, that some people came to me with this after I'd already started recording the video that believed that from him throwing the bottle out the window, the whole situation is Bojack's fault. And I think Bojack kind of feels that way too. I don't know if I would agree with that. I more so... Once I saw at the end, Bojack reported Dr. Champ to Prestigious... To me, that was all the proof I needed. So I didn't really go back to before that. You made a mistake. There were a couple of comments here. Here we go. I think there's a huge disconnect here because no one seems to be considering how alcoholism works. This is by Lisa Brown. Alcoholism is a lifelong struggle. It is not cured just because the person isn't drinking anymore. They have to maintain their sobriety every single day. My headcanon, learn a new word for the therapist, continue to drink. After the initial taste of vodka hits him, that is what alcoholics do. If they taste alcohol, they drink it. Who hasn't picked up a drink thinking that it's one thing only to find it also has alcohol in it? Most people would think before they continue to drink, and if they didn't want alcohol, they would put it down. Okay, so far it seems like you're agreeing with most people saying that he drank it, knew what it was on the first drop, and then kept drinking. Not alcoholics. He drank it because that's what he always wants to do anyway every day. It was already going down anyway, so who cares? Also, being a therapist and recovering alcoholic, he should have contacted his sponsor immediately after this incident and hit a meeting because that is what AA requires, but he didn't, so he spiraled. That's a point to consider. Him hiding it in the first place could have been a thing. I could discuss that more later. However, being an alcoholic, he knows this can happen, which shouldn't ruin his life at all. Bojack didn't make him an alcoholic, so how is he responsible for ruining his life? Like I said in the video, it's not drinking. It's not re-becoming an alcoholic that I consider why Bojack is responsible. That's not the argument I'm making. That seems to be the discussion everyone wants to have. But to me, like, the final thing was, Bojack, what's his name? Dr. Champ was sitting there drunk. Bojack had no responsibility to do anything to Dr. Champ. Anything whatsoever. He wasn't his boss. He wasn't a cop. He wasn't anything like that. He had no responsibility. He chose, of his own free will, to go contact Prestiges and to submit Dr. Champ into a rehab facility. This forced Dr. Champ to deal with the consequences. Potentially, Dr. Champ could have gone the rest of his life drinking and avoiding the consequences. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but his life wouldn't have been ruined, so to speak. Bojack made it so that he had to face the consequences. That, by the technical definition, is ruining his life. 1955, Doc Brown. Bojack didn't have to tell Prestiges if Dr. Champ was fired. He could have at least begged for his job. If Prestiges didn't know he was drunk and thought he was just on break, Bojack had a choice. That's the thing. Bojack's direct actions caused the consequences of the situation. That's why I'm looking at this as saying, is it Bojack's fault that Dr. Champ is in the situation he's in the last time we see Dr. Champ? The very last time we see Dr. Champ, is it Bojack's fault that he's in that situation? And the answer is yes, because Bojack told Prestiges and Bojack checked him into another rehab facility. It was Bojack's direct actions that caused the consequences. And as I said in the video, you could argue that if Bojack had never done that, he would have faced them anyway. He would have gone through something anyway, but we don't know. We don't know. Potentially he could have faced them, or potentially he could have completely avoided them for the rest of his life. We don't know. I mentioned this in my comment. This is Ali Dreamer on the video, but I do understand your point that Dr. Champ didn't ask to be helped, and maybe it wasn't Bojack's responsibility to do that. It wasn't Bojack's responsibility to do that. Now, you could argue that even though it wasn't, it was still a good thing to do, which is what I'm leaning towards, that it was still Bojack. Bojack still did a good thing for checking in Dr. Champ, but it wasn't his responsibility. He fixed his initial mistake of getting Dr. Champ drunk. From that point on, it was Dr. Champ's choice to re-get drunk. Bojack decided to intervene on something Dr. Champ had done. TH3 Troop. Champ is Bojack's, that's why there's, I don't know about that. Rocky Sampson. Hi, Shay, you love your stuff. Here's my 2 cents. I agree with you that Bojack is responsible for Dr. Champ having to face consequences of his behavior, but whether he ruined his life is debatable. Yeah, that's why I'm not really trying to argue too much on the ruined life. I think I did defend it once in the comment section. No, I know I did. because you could apply the definition of ruining someone's life to Dr. Champ, but I'm not really trying too hard to defend it. I specifically used the word ruined his life because it was an easier title. It rolls off the tongue more than saying the situation that Dr. Champ is currently in. Like, it's just easier to say ruin his life. That's why I keep doing air quotes every time I say it in this live stream. That's not true. It's still on Dr. Champ. If he didn't get blackout drunk, he could have stopped Bojack, but he clearly didn't care about the consequences of his drinking. See, he did care about the consequences of his drinking because Bojack specifically asked him, "What's your plan, Dr. Champ?" He said, "My plan is to go back to prestigious. You keep me out of trouble, and then we'll be free." Now, obviously, Bojack wasn't going to do that, but that does show that Dr. Champ did care about the consequences, even while he was drunk. He was going to hide it. And by if successfully hiding it, yeah, his life isn't being ruined because he doesn't have to face the consequences. Here's a headcanon. Dr. Champ is Maddie's dad. Yeah, that's a little bit off topic, but we can go into that at the end of the stream. It's not confirmed that Dr. Champ's life is from Devin notes. It's not confirmed that Dr. Champ's life is ruined, though. Dr. Champ assumes his life is ruined, but all Bojack did was check him into rehab. Well, he also told Prestigious. Bojack tried to help him. We don't know what happened to him after. Yeah. I'm repeating myself now, but I guess it's just gotta happen. Ruined his life. Not trying to build a strong argument for it. It's just the term I used because it was a better title to say that. I have a question. Does stopping people from exhibiting toxic behavior worth it? I think is what you meant to say. Is stopping people from exhibiting toxic behavior worth it? It depends on the situation. All right, back to the comments. I believe Dr. Champ did taste the vodka and continued drinking. My reasoning being, in the same episode, just moments before Dr. Champ drank the bottle, so did Bojack. Of course, Bojack spat it out. But why? I believe Bojack became unaccustomed to the taste of vodka and spat it out upon it first entering his mouth. So if Dr. Champ is also sober and also must be accustomed to the taste of vodka, why did he spit it out why didn't he spit it out like Bojack? It's also important to note Dr. Champ stated that just one drop of... Yeah, I said that in the video. Conclusion, he tasted the vodka without drinking. Note, thank you for making this video. Everyone makes mistakes. Okay, so I've been seeing this a lot. People are saying, Bojack drank the vodka and he spat it out because of the taste. When I saw Bojack spit it out, I thought he spat it out because he realized what he was doing. He never directly says it's the taste. Now, I'm not going to argue that those people are wrong, because if you go rewatch that scene, yeah, it does look like he recognized the taste. But this is what I'm talking about with like headcanons. You see something and you have to rationalize it. People got mad at me because I was basically saying we're making headcanons all the time in stories. We are. We are making headcanons all the time in stories. It's inevitable. You're going to justify things in a story that don't work because the author, if they take too much time, the author or the writer, whatever you want to call them, if they take time out to explain every little detail, the story's going to suck. So they have to assume that the audience can figure certain things out for themselves, context clues. And a lot of times the vague stuff becomes extremely important. For example, in The Killing Joke, Batman puts his hand on Joker, and a lot of people, and then Joker becomes silent, and a lot of people, this might be a spoiler if you've never read The Killing Joke, a lot of people interpreted that scene as Batman killing the Joker, which it isn't exactly justifying the situation, but it is a headcanon. Now we find out that, immediately after, there's a lot of more Joker comics, so it's very likely that wasn't the author's intended purpose. But I'm just giving an example of how people are making headcanons all the time when they see stuff in fiction. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't know why people are treating headcanons like they're such a horrible, horrible, bad thing. It happens all the time. In any fiction, you're making headcanons because the writer should not be explaining everything to you. It takes courage and self-awareness. Honestly, Even one drop could send him off the rails. You need to listen to every word. I said this in the video. I put this quote in the video, and I specifically said this quote can be used to argue foreshadowing. I never said in the video that Dr. Champ knowing it was vodka is wrong. I never said that. What I said was there are other headcanons that could justify. I even said it's a really good justification. When I watched it, I just didn't think of it. I just used suspension of disbelief. The reason why I believe he willingly drank it, knowing full well, Man Band 20, vodka is a mixture of the vodka doesn't taste like water debate and the show. I'm not making this argument. I am not in neither video. I make this argument that water tastes like vodka. Absolute geniuses, and they think this through. Say touch, mixing vodka. Please correct me here if I'm wrong, but I think you missed the point here again. Because we know, this is Bijan, because we know that alcohol has a distinct vulgar taste in this universe, as does ours. He keeps saying that we don't know this. Me? I keep saying we don't know this? But we do. In the episode where Bojack chaperones the kid to his prom, he switches their drink for something he normally drinks, and then comment on how it is a hard drink. Since the premise of the argument is it's Bojack's fault that Dr. Champ's life is ruined, is faulty, the logical conclusion derived is also inconclusive. Okay, I'm just going to get tired of saying that I never said that. That was never a point I made. I don't know, Shady, I thought your point came across... Okay, that's not the comment I thought it was. Having to see this, I perceived Dr. Champ at first, but after he realized he was already hooked back in. All that matters to me is the fact that there was no ill intent from Bojack. In terms of reasoning that Dr. Champ continued to drink, I believe Occam's razor applies. The idea of Occam's razor is that we draw the conclusion that requires the least amount of assumptions. An extraordinary conclusion requires extraordinary evidence, right? So for one to assume that Dr. Champ couldn't taste, this is another one. In the original video, I was not making the point that Dr. Champ didn't have any taste. I was just giving an example of a headcanon that could also work. One would have to make the assumption that that he has indeed lost his sense of taste. Not only is that much less likely than an alternative, it also requires an additional assumption. TLDR, not all headcanons are created equal, and some are more legitimate than others. Yeah, I probably could have stated that more proficiently, because the headcanon I gave was not supposed to be a very good headcanon. I even said in the video, my headcanon is not as good as your headcanon, but it gets the job done. The bottle of vodka was an accident made by Bojack, Alicia Martin, but Dr. Champ decided to keep drinking alcohol after that, so that's entirely his fault. Thunder Lightning Bolt. Your doctor is not your friend. You don't have to help them. THD True, Bojack was just being a little... I'm not going to read that. Alright, let's see what you guys have been saying. Like Doctor ruined his own life, but blames Bojack for it. See, that's the thing. If there was something that naturally happened that made the doctor face his consequences, obviously I would say he ruined his own life. Or if Bojack had some obligation to... Am I dropping frames? This thing says I've dropped a little bit of frames. If Bojack has some obligation to help Dr. Champ, I would still consider it to be Dr. Champ's fault. Because, if you're a parent and you got to take care of a child, you're like Madison H's dad, it's not Madison H's dad's fault that Madison H's... Is her name Madison? I'm calling her Madison. That Madison H's life is the way it is. But he has to help. He's responsible for her. He has to make the best decision for her. So, then I wouldn't consider it Bojack's fault. All right, I think I hit most of the comments I wanted to in this video. I want to go ahead and get to the other video because this is the main one I want to talk about. So these are the comments you guys said for the video. Go away. No, I said go away. What about the fact that after Champ left rehab, he went to a bar? He had the choice to do that. Now, see, this is what's perplexing me. Because a lot of people are saying this. You know, Dr. Champ had a choice to go to a bar. And I explicitly explain it's not getting drunk that ruined Dr. Champ's life. The show demonstrates this. His life in the bar, when he's drunk, is fine. It's facing the consequences, which I believe he was going to have to do anyway, but that's just something I believe. I can't say that was a 100% guarantee that was going to happen. It would not be wrong if Bojack did nothing. Champ is an adult. I would say I have to agree with that. It's not Bojack's responsibility to take care of Dr. Champ. I don't even think Bojack ruined his life. People who... Oh, yeah. Well, we discussed that. Not really to anything we're talking about, but I hope Ralph and Wanda make a cameo. Okay. He chose to keep drinking. Yeah, I'm not arguing that. I will say this. Dr. Champ chose to get drunk the second time. He chose to keep drinking. Bojack cleaned up the mess of the first encounter. After that, it was up to Dr. Champ to keep his life on the track. And he chose not to. He chose to go back and drink. But the inevitable consequences of him drinking were not natural. They were not caused by him drinking. They were caused by Bojack intervening. Bojack came in and made Dr. Champ face those consequences. That's what I'm saying. That's why you could say, oh, whose fault is it that Prestigious no longer respects Dr. Champ? Well, Bojack's the one that told them. Whose fault is it that if Dr. Champ's husband does leave him, it's like, who caused that to happen? Well, Bojack's direct actions. Actually, that one's a bit of a stretch. That last one. Whose fault is it that Dr. Champ... Yeah, that one's a bit of a stretch. Do you think Bojack did the wrong thing? I would say from a principle standpoint, yes. Because I don't think you should forcefully help somebody if they don't ask for it. However, I would say from a personal standpoint, no. Because Dr. Champ did need help. He did need to go. I would say if I was in Bojack's shoes, I wouldn't have done it. I would have turned around and left Dr. Champ there because he's an adult. He's responsible for his own actions. I'm not responsible for him. Potential other way of looking at this. Champ knew what he was doing and was at fault, but Bojack was unable to speak up and blame him instead of himself due to the need of character growth. I don't think that's really another way of looking at it. I think that's just inserting a couple things. Jeez, the chat is going by. Can we talk responsibility of saving Dr. Champ, other patients from him? Bojack did the right thing. Maybe not the best way to go about it, but still. Saving his patients from him. Now, in what way would you know that Dr. Champ drinking is bad for his patients? He's being hypocritical, definitely. But would he not still be helping out his patients? There's the argument that you shouldn't be teaching people stuff that you can't do. You know, a fat out of shape person who refuses to exercise should not be a coach because they don't know what it's like to go through certain things and they don't know how to push people to the correct boundaries. Dr. Champ was successful until an accident. If he kept drinking, would that negate all the success he had prior to? Would Bojack be saving him from his patients? And that's also assuming that Dr. Champ going to the bar then that wasn't going to be his last time, which we don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure the show is implying that he's not going to stop after that. Uh, bu- 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 Should PC have known she was dating three boys in a trench coat? To me, that's the joke, and the joke doesn't affect the emotion of the story. I feel Bojack throwing the bottle and Champ drinking it is a joke. I don't feel that's a joke. Bojack throwing the bottle out the window was a direct act he did that caused Dr. Champ to get the bottle and drink it. And the show is trying to say that Bojack doing that act in some way helped put Dr. Champ down on that path. They even say at the end, the only reason I got drunk is because of your contraband vodka. Dr. Champ is not Bojack's family member, and he's not his friend. Dr. Champ is not Bojack's responsibility. Dr. Champ was wrong. Bojack doesn't hurt people who cares about him. He hurts the people who cares about intentionally or unintentionally, which is why he did what he did. He cared about Dr. Champ. You've kind of contradicted yourself there, Rocky Sampson. Ali Dreamer. Oh, you're responding to someone. In Queen, I still think everyone to a degree is responsible for their own happiness. Yeah, I think everyone is responsible for their own happiness, but I think someone can come in. I think everyone is responsible for building their own happiness. Someone can come in and take that away from you if they want to. Like, just to give an example, um, let's say you got a job. I don't know. You have a job you really like. There's a person higher up in the food chain. They don't like you, despite the fact that you do good work. So they go out of their way to get you fired. You know, that's nothing you did. That's something somebody else did. Other people can come in and mess up your life. Now you don't have to say your life is completely destroyed. Like, your life is over, basically what I'm saying. You don't have to say your life is over. You can still rebuild it up. But other people can come in and destroy a good chunk of your happiness. The show is trying to make you think that it's Bojack's fault. It's really not. I think the show does want you to think it's Bojack's fault. It helps push the show's point forward. So, hypothetically, if it were someone Champ was close to that wasn't Bojack, would it be their fault for ruining his life? If it was somebody who had a responsibility for Dr. Champ, like if it was Dr. Champ's boss, they would have a responsibility to notify the right people. And in which case they are just doing their responsibility. They can choose to not do it, but I wouldn't put so much responsibility on them, because that's them finding. If they're responsible for him, that means them finding out is Dr. Champ facing the consequences. Them finding out is already him facing the consequences, because they are responsible for him. They are the ones that will definitely trigger the negative consequences happening. Bojack didn't necessarily have to. But I don't think Bojack went out of his way to mess up Champ's life. You saw how frantic he was trying to find the bottle. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he tried to mess up Champ's life. And again, I don't even look at the bottle incident, because to me, it's just the fact that he told Prestigious is enough evidence to me. So I'm going to read some more of these comments. Just like Sarah Lynn with the hidden in her home and willingness to get high, the vodka hit his lips and he kept drinking. That's the responsibility right there. I think I'll be reiterating myself, but yeah, again, it's not the bottle and the vodka that I'm arguing. I see your point, but to me, the whole one drop was sent on a ruinous path thing is obvious as foreshadowing gets. Again, not arguing the bottle thing. Honestly, can't agree with the notion that putting Dr. Champ in rehab, Bojack ruined his life. Dr. Champ had already fallen off the wagon with no intent to get back on. Well, he did have an intent to get back on. He just failed. His willpower failed. His life was screwed one way or another. He was totally helpless by himself, and Bojack knew that. Well, Bojack did by getting Dr. Champ into rehab instead of trying to fix all himself like he would have 3 seasons ago. Shows that Bojack knows his limits now and that he can recognize when something can't be fixed by himself. Look at how yeah, I would agree with this. I would agree with this bottom part that Bojack checking Champ into rehab is growth, but that doesn't dismiss that it's not Bojack's fault. Even if Dr. Champ's life is ruined, I can't see how that's Bojack's fault. What Bojack did was probably the best anyone else in his shoes could have done. I say Dr. Champ screwed himself up and just blamed it all on Bojack. Well, again, that this part right here does not dismiss this part. What Bojack did was probably the best for anyone else in his shoes. This does not dismiss this up here. That is Bojack's fault. Oh, you guys can't see because my face is covering it. This does not dismiss this part up here. That is Bojack's fault. Because even if that is the best he could do, it would still make it. It could still make it his fault. Alice Martin, the difference with Sarah Lynn is that Dr. Champ is a professional who is supposed to know how to react with addiction. Well, I would just say the difference with Sarah Lynn, well, even with Sarah Lynn, I don't, wait, hold on. Do I blame Bojack for what happened with Sarah Lynn? No, I don't. Not Champ on your phone. Where did they make the Sarah Lynn comparison? I don't see it. I honestly can't agree with Bojack running his life. His life was free. He was totally helpless, and Bojack knew that. What Bojack did. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I guess it wasn't in this comment. Here it is. Just like Sarah Lynn with the in her home alone skin, the vodka his lips. Oh, that's why I skipped over it because of the whole vodka part. And he kept drinking. Yeah. Okay. But the difference with Sarah Lynn and Bojack is Sarah Lynn definitely of her own volition did the stuff. Bojack had a hand in messing up Sarah Lynn's life, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it was his fault because it was her direct actions that led to the consequences. Bojack did some stuff that allowed her to make choices. That's the thing. Bojack did things. He said, "Hey, you want to party?" And she said yes and started drinking. His action allowed her to make another action that led to the consequences. With Dr. Champ, is not that way. He didn't say, "Hey, Dr. Champ, you want me to check you in?" And Dr. Champ said yes, and then it led to consequences. No, he checked Dr. Champ in and called up Prestigious. So that's why I would consider Sarah Lynn, even though Bojack had a hand in it, I wouldn't consider Sarah Lynn his fault, but I would consider Dr. Champ's his fault. And I really must reiterate this because a lot of people think I'm saying this. No, that doesn't necessarily mean what Bojack did was wrong in that situation. Something being his fault doesn't mean he was wrong to do it. Por favor, no spamming, please, guys. I definitely think the show was implying his life would have gone downhill either way, just in different ways. I'm also wondering how Bojack could have checked him in. I mean, this is rehab and what you need consent on both sides. Well, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how rehab works. I mean, it wasn't on purpose, but he had a great emotional impact on Sarah Lynn's life. Yeah, that's what my whole Sarah Lynn video was about, was that, it's not gonna be Bojack's fault what happened to Sarah Lynn, but you still need to recognize the influence you have on other people. She said she got sober just to do stuff. Okay, let's not go too far in the Sarah Lynn direction. Just making a comparison to Dr. Champ. And why I consider Dr. Champ to be a lot more, very different than what Sarah Lynn went through. I mean, alright, Rob, if his husband and daughter really cared about him, they probably thanked Bojack for getting Champ help and informing them. It's the right thing to do. Bojack did get him into that situation, though, but accidentally consuming alcohol isn't the rarest thing in the world, so it's strange that Champ was really going to risk his living life when one drop. You didn't finish your thing. Did you finish anything here? Well, here's the thing. A lot of people, I keep saying that. Here's the thing, though. A lot of people keep saying, well, Dr. Champ wasn't really healed because one drop would just send him back. Dr. Champ knew one drop would send him back. That's why he put himself in an environment where he wouldn't have to worry about that. And I find it very odd that people are giving Dr. Champ so much grief because he can easily get addicted back when he's gone so many years avoiding putting himself in that situation. I still say he's pretty much good. He's still, you could still say he's addicted. You can still say he's addicted, but but that's not gonna I don't know. I feel he deserves more credit than that. Listen, Ginger Conquer. Yes, here's the thing. Bojack has made me so self-conscious about that. I constantly say, here's the thing. Dude, he smelled it before he took a sip, and it was so close to him, he just decided to do... Okay, see, statements like this. Again, I don't want to defend that vodka tastes like water, and I don't even care about the whole vodka-water situation. But how do you know this? How do you know Dr. Champ smelled it before? Because... You know how you know this? Because in real life, if you had a water bottle of vodka and you sipped it, you would have smelled it. So you're justifying somebody else in a fictional world doing that and saying it must have happened. Then how come Bojack, also an alcoholic, took a sip and spat it out? Again, I didn't think he spat it out because of the taste. I thought he spat it out because he realized what he was doing was wrong. You're telling me that Dr. Champ was so thirsty he didn't taste the vodka as he gulped it down, and when we were just shown that Bojack threw it because of that exact same reason? Okay, I'm going to read my reply to this that I put in here. I'm saying that there are many explanations that could excuse that moment. I simply chose to believe that the writers didn't want Dr. Champ to taste the beverage because it worked with their story. This is essentially my entire response in that sentence. That's what this right here. Let's zoom in on it. Everybody memorize it. Oh, it sent me to the it sent me to the recommended stuff. But yeah, this right here, I really want to highlight. This is basically what I'm saying, because a lot of people are arguing stuff around this. I'm saying there are many explanations that it could excuse that moment. I simply chose to believe the writers didn't want Dr. Champ to taste a beverage because it worked with their story. I suspended my disbelief. There are other headcanons that could work. I think the headcanon the fandom has come up with is a perfectly good and rational headcanon. I just don't want people thinking it's the only explanation that could work. Whew! My life is so hard, you guys. I have to explain things to people. First world millennial problems. Whew, okay. All the vowels. Okay, but the idea that Dr. Champ's life is ruined is headcanon too, by that logic. We haven't seen the consequences of Bojack putting him in partridges yet. I wouldn't say by that logic it is headcanon, but you could argue that it is a headcanon because we haven't seen what happened to Dr. Champ. What freaking happened to... Oh, I was finna go off on a tangent. I'm just going to say this right quick. What happened to freaking Ethan around? Like, they never go into that. Hopefully we'll see that by the end of the season, because otherwise it's just going to be a mystery nobody answered. I think you're speculating too much on this one, says Aerodynamic 11. Yes, we all have headcanons because the Bojack staff will never say straight what their intentions were and will. Leave it up to your intention, aka cop-out. Well, I don't think that's a cop-out. I think good stories leave a lot of things up to interpretation. Oh, wow, we are at 170 viewers. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Hi. Stage fright kicking in. Why I say it's Dr. Champ's fault is because, like you said, there is a consistent internal logic in the show's universe, and there is some suspension of disbelief involved. However, for the most part, given the premature nature of the plot, it's hard to think vodka would taste like water in their universe. It doesn't. For me, it's pretty simple. Dr. Champ was trying to pin 100% of him falling on Bojack, and Bojack showed more maturity in trying to fix his mistake by staying the doctor with it. See, I don't think the show wants to put 100% of the blame on Dr. Champ. I'm turning this way because that's where my comments are. You guys are right here. My comments are over there, but the camera's right there. I don't think it's 100%. I don't think the show wants you to think it's 100% Bojack's fault. I do think the show wants to put the fault on Bojack, but like Aaron D. Namek 11 here says, they also want to show that Dr. Champ is not willing to take responsibility for it. It's not headcanon, but more of an inference. This is revamped chaos. As the audience, we don't need to be told verbatim that Dr. Champ likely knew he was drinking vodka and not water. We can infer his awareness due to the properties of vodka and how they are different from water. Both liquids are clear, but vodka has a distinct smell and taste that anyone is... Well, I think you might be a little bit confused because I was never saying he was drinking water. I was saying that other stuff. Therefore, we can infer the thoughts of Dr. Champ without having explicitly be told so. But right here, infer. You're inferring something based on context clues. It's not being stated. At the end of the day, Dr. Champ is an individual with agency. So is Bojack, and his agency is what led to this. Nobody forced him to drink after the first sip. Nobody forced him to drink the first sip. And nobody forced him to keep drinking after it was over. Relapsing is common and normal for addicts trying to recover, but it's up to them to keep up and get back on track. Alright, going back to you guys' comments. LOL, something that doesn't seem to be brought up is the fact that Bojack called out early in the season that contraband alcohol was being snuck in the facility, possibly relevant. Well, yeah, that was the whole Jameson H thing. Jameson H tried to sneak a bottle of vodka in, and Bojack took it from her, and he kept it. Blackmail. They decided to go. Okay, I think you're responding to someone else. There are so many people arguing, Shady, because you picked the wrong question in your title. That is something to consider. The question in the title: did Bojack ruin Dr. Champ's life? Yeah, the word ruin Dr. Champ's life there. Yeah, I might just have to take the fault on that one. Because not even I would say he, quote-unquote, ruined Dr. Champ's life. And on some levels, I would, because ruining somebody's life is taking all the good out of it, but we don't know if that's happened yet. Shady, what could Bojack have done to not ruin Dr. Champ's life? Varen. Bojack could have left. If he had left the bar, he wouldn't have ruined Dr. Champ's life. Dr. Champ's would have ruined his own life. Leo de Bendito, to be fair as well, Bojack had no intent to ruin Dr. Champ's life, which should be taken into consideration, especially since his actions were done to prevent himself from drinking. Well, this goes back to what I was saying. Just because he, by definition, may have ruined Dr. Champ's life, does not necessarily mean he, by definition, did the wrong thing. Before season 6, he didn't care about what he did affected others until after he did it, but it was likely he decided to, in the heat of the moment, to screw someone over, like with Penny near the end of season 3. Yeah, I feel like somebody could argue that, but I'm not about to. I think it's right. Might be an obvious point, but it just popped up in my head. Ali Tip, it's not Bojack's fault. That's like blaming your alcoholism on the bartender for handing you the drink. No, that is not like that, because the bartender is not forcing you to drink the drink. Bojack's actions was he checked Dr. Champ in and he called up Prestigious. That's what Bojack's actions were. And those actions had direct consequences. Why did I scroll up? Alright. I think I'll stick with chat for a little bit, because you guys are saying a lot of interesting things and I'm missing it because I'm over here trying to read these other comments. I am wondering if the press and all the bad things Bojack did during the show will come back to him like it is implied. After all, he is a rich celebrity and we learned that lesson already. Well, if the show wants to stay consistent, it'll say it, if it does come back, it'll say it blows over eventually. The show has gone out of its way to say that celebrities eventually get over whatever allegations are against them. Do you think Bojack checking Dr. Champ into rehab was also an attempt of absolving his own guilt over having created the situation accidentally or otherwise, leading to unintended consequences? Yes. I think Bojack was trying to make up for his original act of getting Dr. Champ drunk, but I think he was also just trying to help Dr. Champ because Dr. Champ clearly needed someone to check him into rehab. People may be forced into rehab, but that doesn't mean it will stick after you're out. Probably not. This is why we can't. This is why everybody is arguing against me with the word ruined. Like, I probably should not have used that word, but I still cannot think of a better way to describe the situation. Did Bojack force Dr. Champ to face consequences? More of a coincidence, but it's still funny. Well, Bojack Horseman is a comedy. Bojack spits out and gags on the taste of vodka before he throws it out the window. Somehow, now the liquid is unsmellable, untasteable to someone keenly in tune to it. That's not this. Oh, to someone keenly in tune to it. Okay. I was about to say, I did not say that, but yeah, I did. I basically said that was a type of headcanon you could use. That's not the headcanon I use. Alright, so I think I made all the points. I was expecting to have to read more comments to make all the points I wanted to make, but I think I made all the points I wanted to in regards to reading the comments. So, going back mainly to what I was saying, in the original video, my argument is that yes, it's Bojack's fault for ruining Dr. Champ's life. Hold on. In my original video, the point is the consequences that Dr. Champ is assuming he will have to face, those are Bojack's fault because of direct actions from Bojack. The whole water vodka thing was a side topic that a lot of people like to bring up when discussing this. I think it is not a headcanon that water and vodka taste different in the show. That is canon to the show, and I've never said in the original video or the new video that it wasn't, though I have incidentally and wrongfully defended that point. The headcanon to me is that Dr. Champ must have known what he was drinking when we don't know if he knew. We just assume that because if we had a bottle of vodka and decided to drink it like that, we would immediately know. And also other context clues. And that is not a bad headcanon. I am not trying to disprove that. My point is, there are other ways you could justify him chugging down the bottle. You could use a separate headcanon, or you could suspend your disbelief. So, I think I made all those points, and I want to focus on the chat now, because you guys are saying a lot of different stuff. So, you can keep talking about that if you want, but the floor is now open for various topics that you want to discuss. And for people who missed the opener, I can miss your comment very easily, but super chats are up. So if you have a comment you 100% want me to read, you can use super chats. Or if you just want to support the channel, you can use super chats. I like the side topic. It means Dr. Champ got vodka on his lips and couldn't stop himself from chugging. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad headcanon. The more I say it, the more I'm believing it. You didn't need to read my comment under... You didn't read my comment in the original video. You're too much focus on the bottle from all of you. I am sorry, awesomely awesome. I honestly thought we were going to get through more comments. This is the first time I've had such a large amount of people in the chat. And I'm very, very grateful to all of you for stopping by just to see little old me. But yeah, I felt with so much conversation going on, I do feel like we've tackled... most of the major points, and I would just be repeating myself. I've already repeated myself several times, and I would just keep doing it. The coincidence of him slurping a water bottle while talking about Champ chugging vodka from the... Oh, yeah, you're talking about me. I was like, who was coincidentally drinking a water bottle? Who's doing that? That's pretty weird. How do you know this is water? This could be vodka. You think Bojack shouldn't have checked Dr. Champ into rehab and let him drink himself to death instead? Would he be ruining... Well, Champ wasn't going to drink himself to death, would he not be ruining his life by inaction at that point? No, I disagree with that. Uh, Ruining somebody's life by inaction personally means to me that you have some responsibility to act in their life. Dr. Champ is an adult. Bojack can't legally stop him from taking another drink. Um, Bojack could actually get in trouble for trying to stop him from taking another drink. Dr. Champ wasn't going to drink himself to death because he got blackout drunk. So he at that point he stopped drinking. Bojack did not have a responsibility to Bojack, and I think, speaking from principle, if you don't have a responsibility to someone, you should not forcefully try to help them. If they have some kind of effect in your life, like if Dr. Champ's drinking was making Bojack's life worse, or if Bojack was somehow responsible for him, then yes, he should have intervened. Speaking on principle. But again, speaking personally, I still am leaning towards Bojack did the right thing, because Dr. Champ needed help. Do you have any Bojack headcanons non-champ related? I probably have a lot, again, because we're making headcanons all the time. But here, let me move the chat over here, since I'm using that screen now, and I can just look at you guys while I'm talking. Oh, great, now I can't see it. Where'd it go? Oh, my chat's gone. Oh, no. This is a professional stream. Don't worry, everything's fine. Don't worry, we're all good. Everything's going according to plan. Just don't freak out. We got this. We got. The chat keeps messing up. Stop it. Okay. Do I have any headcanons about BoJack Horseman? None that I can think of off the top of my head right now. With Yeah, there's none I can think of off the top of my head right now. I probably do. You can't force addicts into getting help. It was Dr. Champ's fault. I am late. What did I miss? We just finished up the main topic, Mockingjay. Now we're just talking generally in the chat. What do you think the moral philosophy of BoJack Horseman is? I feel like it's taken a necessary departure from nihilism, assertism, and existentialism, which are horrible and irrational. I don't think I think nihilism in itself and existentialism are running themes, but I don't think they're like the moral. I don't think they were ever the moral. But we'll have to see how the show ends, because it feels like the moral is, be a good person and try to be happy. That's what it seems like the moral is, and it's trying to teach you how to do those things. You can help them in a lot of ways, but ultimately it has to be a personal choice to break whatever habit is going on. Yes, I agree with that. 1955, Doc Brown. Is the way the incident started Bojack's fault? No. Is the way the situation ended Bojack's fault? Yes. Well, the way the situation started is also Bojack's fault, because he threw the water bottle out the window. The bottle of vodka out the window. Do you think Dr. Chet will be back in part 2? It is very likely he will, because he hinted at his daughter, who a lot of people think is what's-her-face from Pete Repeat's girlfriend. I can't remember her name. A lot of people think that's their daughter, and I believe that. I do believe that. I don't want to call that a headcanon. I call that a theory, because I think they're gonna finalize that in the second half of the season. I don't think BoJack has a central moral, but a bunch of morals. I think it has both, central moral and a bunch of morals. What do you think will happen with the whole Penny, Charlotte, and Pete Repeat situation? I think BoJack will get Me Too'd and canceled, and I don't think it's gonna. It's gonna affect him, but he's not gonna care. But it's his friends they're gonna feel the hit, and since they're not used to stuff like this, well, Mr. Peanut Butter is, but the rest of them aren't used to stuff like this. It's going to affect their lives in ways that is going to feel BoJack is irredeemable. Like, for example, there's probably going to be take Diane. Her boyfriend, Guy, he's probably going to find out about this, and then because Guy knows Diane, who knows BoJack, somebody's going to be like, oh, here's a situation with your son. You're going to lose custody of your son, Guy, if you don't break up with Diane. And then Diane's going to have to make a choice, and then she's gonna have to decide between going with Guy or staying with BoJack, and then it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. I think it's gonna hurt Bojack's friends, and that's what he's scared about. His actions hurting those around him. I think it's funny that most of the stances boils down to the mindset of that you should stop toxic behavior from people versus only in certain situations. Well, if their toxic behavior is affecting other people, like if somebody is drinking and they're causing a scene, then yeah, like a bouncer should throw him out. But if he's just drinking by himself and he's only causing toxicity to himself, who is another person to step in and say you can't do that? Not gonna lie, I think his daughter is Sarah Lynn because she had a stepdad. Well, everybody thinks Sarah Lynn's stepdad is her producer or whoever that guy that came up was, the bear with the glasses. Everybody thinks the bear is her stepdad. With the way the show is going, I have a theory that something bad will happen to Bill. Also, the Dr. Champ said he had a husband. Sarah Lynn had a mom. She didn't have two dads. My friend and I fear that at the end of the series, Bojack is going to commit cancellation. What are your thoughts? I think he's going to attempt it. I don't think it's actually going to happen. I think there's a possibility he's going to attempt it. I wouldn't bet money on it, but I think it is a possibility. But I don't think it's going to succeed. The intro shows him jumping off the balcony of the observatory. Or I keep calling it the observatory. It's not an observatory. What is it called? The dome thing where you see the stars and whatnot, where Sarah Lynn passed away. It keeps showing him jumping off that. That might be where he's probably going to try to end himself. Do you think Bojack will be forced back into his old mentality by the media cancel culture despite any efforts to improve? I think it's going to severely test him. I think it's going to severely test him. And I think he's going to reach a whole new low because everyone around him is reaching new lows. Planetarium, yes, planetarium. Did Maddie say she had two dads? Not that I know of. I don't think she ever spoke about her parents. She was a minor character. I'm quite concerned that Dr. Champ was acting as a therapist, even though he said he wasn't a licensed one. He's a therapy horse, which basically means he can act like a therapist, but he's not bound to the same legal restrictions, which a lot of people are pointing out means he doesn't have to keep Bojack's confidentiality. So he's gonna go and tell the media about what all Bojack's secrets in order to get revenge on him. What if Margot Martindale tried to kill Bojack? She feels guilty for the thing he made her do. I don't think that's going to happen. Do you think Champ will come back in part 2? I think there's a high possibility. Because like I said, I think he's Maddie's dad. And also the whole therapy horse thing. What's funny is that therapy horses do actually exist. Oh yeah, I never thought about, actual therapy horses. That was in my mouth. Would you dislike if Dr. Champ said in part 2 that Bojack saved his life? No. I think that would be a revelation. I think that would be pretty good. I think, depending on how they do it, it might be out of character for Dr. Champ. The producer-director from Secretariat situation wasn't entirely Bojack's fault, to be honest. Producer-director from Secretariat... No! See, I wouldn't blame that on Bojack either. I would say he had a hand in it, but he didn't force her to do it. She made her own choice. Shady Durags, my headcanon. No matter the fallout, Bojack and Mr. Peanut Butter hook up and live happily in seclusion on the lakeside cabin. Okay. Like the whole Herb thing, I don't blame Bojack for the Herb thing. The problem with the Herb thing is that Bojack said he would stick up for Herb and then didn't. He shouldn't have said he was going to do it if he wasn't going to do it. The whole producers making him do stuff wasn't his fault. I think Sharona was his fault. Sharona was his fault. He's the one he went after Sharona. It would be interesting to see if he has moved on from what happened to his wife or not. Oh, whose wife? Do you feel like they could have done a lot more with Todd's character? Yes, but I'm not necessarily. I feel like they should have because there's already a lot of characters that they focus on. I feel like they haven't done nearly enough with him, considering all they've done with Mr. Peanut Butter and Diane. Um, we sort of been told what's going to happen to Bojack. Anna said to Diane that those men will do bad and come back a few years later with no consequences. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Even if all this Me Too cancellation stuff happens, consistently the show has said that for celebrities, even if they wind up facing some consequences over a couple of years, it dies down. It's not Bojack who has to worry about it, it's everyone around him. They're not celebrities. The only one who is Mr. Well, Diane's kind of a celebrity, but Mr. Peanut Butter is a celebrity. But Mr. Peanut Butter might lose Pickles in the process. I feel like this could be a moment where Todd. Okay, here's an interesting question. If things went so horrible that his closest OBS is getting real mad at me. I don't know what's going on. I'm not running it here. I'll try closing a couple of the comment pages. We're not using those anymore. Okay, so I hope the stream stays up. OBS is getting mad at me for some reason. But I had a question, and I don't know if you guys, heard it, but yeah, they can't hear me if I say that. Thank you guys for helping everybody out in the chat. I appreciate it. But my question was, if things get so bad at the end of season 6 that the core 4 start leaving Bojack, Mr. Peanut Butter, Princess Carolyn, Todd, and Diane, if they start leaving, who do you think would be the last person to leave if they were to leave? The last person. Because I was about to say, I think Mr. Peanut Butter would be the last person. But I started thinking about it. I was like, man, they've all been behind Bojack through so much crazy stuff. Diane already knows the horrible stuff Bojack has done. But then again, all right. So I'm still thinking it's gonna be Mr. Peanut Butter. And tell me your guys' thoughts because this is actually a very interesting question. But I make my case for Mr. Peanut Butter because Mr. Peanut Butter doesn't understand negativity well. So even with all this, I think he would still see Bojack as his friend and as somebody who needs help. The reason I don't feel it would be Todd is because Todd did leave Bojack momentarily. He came back, but he did stop being friends with Bojack. Bojack crossed a line. Diane didn't stop, but she basically said, I'm not going to be your friend anymore if this happens. So they've shown she has a line. She has a line that Bojack should not cross. Princess Carolyn, I think if her daughter is threatened, she's going to choose her daughter over Bojack. Whereas I don't think Mr. Peanut Butter would choose Pickles over Bojack. Pickles is the closest thing to him right now. I don't see Mr. Peanut Butter as the abandoning type. He would not. I think all 4 of them, it would take extremes to make them abandon Bojack. But I think I have a hard time even understanding what could make Mr. Peanut Butter abandon Bojack. Because Bojack, he found out Bojack kissed Diane he found out from Diane, and then Bojack tried to humiliate him on live TV, and he instantly forgave him. Well, I shouldn't say instantly. He took some time and thought about it, but he legitimately forgave him. It wasn't no secret harboring of hatred. He was fine with Bojack. So let's see. A lot of people said Todd. Somebody said Diane. Todd was living with Bojack for a couple of years in the show. Todd would be the first, somebody said. This PB out, everyone had to wait the longest to get Bojack to respect him. What if Pickles getting pregnant is what makes her grow up? Oh, that would be interesting. Diane would probably leave first. Well, out of the main 5, PC out of the whole cast, Hollyhock. Oh, I'm not Hollyhock. I'm not counting Hollyhock. I think Hollyhock would stick by him last out of all of them. because she sees him as family. Mr. Peanut Butter would be last to leave. Miss PB makes more sense to leave last, but I kind of wish Todd to stick around. I want him to get interesting development, like in the first half of season 6. See, I didn't even see. I mentioned this before. I didn't see Todd getting development. I saw them making up a couple of things to make Todd a bit more interesting. Because season 1 showed that he was lazy, and then in season 2, or in this season 6, they're saying, his parents judged him because of his different lifestyle. And it's like, you guys stated he was lazy, and now you're just saying something completely different. I don't think Bojack would ever be a danger to Ruthie. Well, no, it's not that Bojack would be a danger to Ruthie. It's that Bojack is getting Me Too and canceled. People out there, jeez Louise, I am sweating. People out there, it's not even that hot. People out there, when somebody gets canceled, they try to cancel everything about them. People would know that Princess Carolyn, they would easily be able to find out that Princess Carolyn is his agent. They would tell somebody somewhere that has influence over children, oh, this person's not fit to raise a child or something like that. Or somebody might threaten her. It might be, what's that lady's name? Her rival, Princess Carolyn's rival. Somebody, come on, you guys are all Bojack fans. Help me. Think of it before I do. Vanessa Gecko. Good job. It might be Vanessa Gecko, because we've established that Vanessa Gecko, she was with all those other females, and they were all talking like feminists, and it's like, you got to do this for your daughter. You have to do this for your daughter. And you have to do it for young women everywhere and stuff like that. So it could be Vanessa Gecko approaches Princess Carolyn. That would be very interesting since they finally established a friendship. She approaches Princess Carolyn and makes her, and like threatens to do something about her daughter if she doesn't disconnect from Bojack. That's what would make PC, that's what would make Bojack a threat to Ruthie. You know, Bojack would obviously never threaten directly Ruthie. It's just being canceled and being Me Too'd makes you a danger to a lot of parts of your life. Didn't Gecko say she always thought of them as friends? She said she never hated Princess Carolyn. Not that she thought of him not that she thought of her as a friend. We learned in season 1 that Todd told Bojack they kicked him out due to his alternative lifestyle. It's possible this was always in the works. Episode 4, he was playing a video game, and that's all he was doing. That's why he got kicked out. That's why his girlfriend left him. It was because of the video game. AKA, that's all he did. AKA, he was being lazy. Do you think they'll reveal Erica? I don't know. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting if they did. I don't know if I want them to. If they do it right, it'll be fine. Shady Durags not just threaten Princess to distance herself, but get dirt on Bojack. Yeah. Funny idea. Seahorse guy defends Bojack until he hears he destroyed the factory. I didn't even think about that. I've heard a lot of people say the Seahorse guy defend Bojack. I didn't. That part about the factory though, that was that got me. Who do you think would ruin the least amount of push? Who do you think would require the least amount of pushback to leave Bojack? Who would leave first? I think Todd. I think Todd would either Todd or Diane, because like I said, Todd already left Bojack. Todd, we've already seen that. Diane was this close to leaving Bojack. I think it's easier to make Diane do it though, because Diane's lines are so clearly established. I shouldn't say clearly established. They're easier to get to than Todd's. Like, for Todd to leave Bojack, it has to be something Bojack directly does. But with him being quote unquote Me Too'd, why did I say quote unquote? No, with him being Me Too'd, he's going to that's dealing with sex and stuff, and that's a sensitive subject to Todd. So that might be a bit further push up. I'm going to officially say Diane, but there's an argument to be made for Todd. Do you think Gecko was telling the truth when she said she never hated PC? Yeah. I don't see any reason to assume otherwise. I love Vanessa Gecko, by the way. She's played by freaking... I'm mad I can't remember this woman's name. She's played by Elphaba. And I love the voice of that woman. I think I think if they do reveal Erica, they would make her someone against Bojack without saying who she is, and then later say that person was Erica. That would be interesting if Erica was doing something the entire show of BoJack Horseman. Oh, that reminds me of a moment in Avatar. You guys remember if you've ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's the play that goes on, and it says somebody was following the events of Aang and the rest of them. They missed they missed a really good joke. They say in the credits, oh, he questions some people, especially a very knowledgeable cabbage seller. The cabbage seller should have been the playwright. It would have made so much sense why he was always following the Yang Gang. Like, but that would be interesting. That's something they could do. Like, say that Erica was doing something throughout the entire show and reveal it in this season. I really think Todd would leave him again, honestly. You have to think about why he left. You don't think Todd would leave him. It was because Bojack refused to change or take responsibility. Now that Bojack is better, I don't think so. That is true. That is true. And then when he came back and started taking responsibility, he kind of loosened up. So that's a point to be made. The thing is, though, like, Mr. Peanut Butter doesn't see most negativity. So it's really hard for me to see something being so negative that it makes him not want to be friends with Bojack. Bojack was so horrible to Mr. Peanut Butter for years, and Mr. Peanut Butter, in his mind, thought they were friends. Like, he just believed they were friends for some reason. How do you think Bojack differs from a white, straight male? I think he's a horse. Do you think Mr. PB's current marriage will last? Well, he's not currently married, but I get what you mean. I don't really want it to last. Not because I want bad things to happen to Mr. Peanut Butter, but I don't ship Mr. PB and Pickles. I don't. Pickles, I think, needs somebody else. Yeah, I think Pickles needs somebody else in her life. Do you think Bojack will not be able to be prosecuted from the death of Sarah Lynn because he is rich? I think Bojack can get away with anything because he's rich. Also, prediction, I think somebody's going to murder Jebediah White Whale because he said, just get $1 billion and murder me. I think that's going to happen. I think that was foreshadowing. What do you think it would take for Mr. Peanut Butter to leave Bojack? What I think it would take? That's the thing. I can't think of something it would take. Because Mr. Peanut Butter, he forgave Bojack so easily after Mr. Peanut Butter was at his lowest with Bojack. Bojack insulted him. He berated him on live television in front of everyone. And it was only a couple of minutes, and Mr. Peanut Butter, what's the word I'm looking for? Authentically forgave him. He didn't do it because the network told him. He authentically forgave Bojack. So I don't know what could happen that would make Mr. Peanut, especially since he is a celebrity and he has intentionally tried to start controversy. I went to college, guys. I'd be smart. Do you think that guy is hiding something? I think it's a possibility since they've never showed his son, but that's more of a literature perspective than it is like I'm getting vibes from kind of deal. It's just why wouldn't they show his son if he's supposed to be an important part of Guy's character? I hope that after Mr. PB and Pickles break up, Mr. PB is going to finally reflect on his toxic pattern with relationships and maybe change for the better. See, I have issues when it comes to Mr. Peanut Butter because Mr. Peanut Butter's Booze was the episode that was trying to say he has a toxic relationship with pretty much everyone of his romantic partners, and that was an episode I didn't like. I felt like they broke a lot of rules just to make their point. Do you think Paige Sinclair is going to talk directly to Penny? Paige Sinclair. I'm glad you know her name. I didn't know who Sinclair was, but once I read Paige, I was like, oh, I know who Paige is. I think it's possible. She'll probably track her down. I mainly just think she's gonna get the story. This is a suspicious tangent, but bear with me. Bojack may be the reason Diane and Guy break up. So do you believe Bojack will end up completely alone at the end of the series? I think it's a possibility, but I'm hoping there's going to be some light to it. Like, there's a lot of ways this series could end that would be very poetic. It could end on a happy note and be poetic, and it could end on a really sad note and be poetic. Like, the longest running theory was Mr. PB ending himself, and then Bojack walking into a bar, and then the bar saying, "Why the long face?" Who do you think has the highest chance of destroying Bojack's career? Charlotte. Charlotte has the highest chance of destroying Bojack's career. She has the motivation and she has the dirt. If she finds out Bojack tried to contact her family again, her motivation is going to skyrocket. What is the point of Joey Pogo? Joey Pogo, I think, is supposed to be... They got a young Mr. Peanut Butter. They've established that. He's a very young Mr. Peanut Butter. Somebody else told me this. And I think it's going to be true. Joey Pogo is... Did somebody else tell me this? No, somebody else told me that... I don't remember. Maybe I came up with this. Maybe somebody else did. But Joey Pogo is a young Mr. Peanut Butter. Pickles, I almost called her Bubbles. Pickles is trying to establish she's trying to sleep with somebody and get the same romantic connection as Mr. Peanut Butter so that he can feel bad. Once she sleeps with Joey Pogo, she's going to have someone her age who is, in her mind, perfect, just like Mr. Peanut Butter. That is going to be better and more attractive to her than Mr. Peanut Butter. I think she's going to leave Mr. Peanut Butter for Joey Pogo. I think that's the point of Joey Pogo. The guy leaves to shoot for models, but reassures an insecure Diane of his love for him. While he's gone, Bojack visits. I feel that wasn't authentic, though. Thought he may have forgave him a bit, and didn't want that to get in the way of the relationship. But I feel when he hears about all this on top of kissing her. I think I'm missing the context to that statement. Before Bojack leaves, he grabs a random scarf. That missing scarf may create a spiral of suspicion between Guy and Diane, especially if she hides Bojack to visit. Rocky Sampson. That's a good theory. That's a really good theory. Who is worse, Butterscotch or Beatrice? I don't know. I see them as equal. They were both horrible, horrible people. At the very least, we can say Beatrice was being fueled by her fear, but we don't know enough about Butterscotch. So, well, here's the thing: does she even know Bojack tried to see Penny already? Him calling Kyle, probably not because he didn't know that was Bojack. I mean, like I said, if she finds out, she might already know. But if we find out that she finds out, I guess that's the best way to say it. Some people are saying Butterscotch, some people are saying Beatrice, some people are saying they're equal. After hearing about all he has done on top of kissing Diane, he will leave him. He will leave her, I think you meant to say. Yeah, personally, I see them as equal. It's just that we know Beatrice's motivation, so that makes her seem a bit more human, so to speak. Whereas Butterscotch, because we don't know his motivations, he seems more like a jerk. Why do we want to see Mr. Peanut Butter unhappy? I don't. People do, though. People want Mr. Peanut Butter to face reality. Because even when he's down, he doesn't face reality. He just thinks completely optimistic. What do you think will happen in the second to last episode? That's a difficult, because it's not going to be the second last episode of the season. It's going to be the second last episode of the show. So that is a difficult thing to answer. I'm just hoping it's not it's not like last season's. No, he will leave Bojack. There's probably going to be more episodes since part 1 and part 2. Do you think Bojack could go down the same road as Cuddly Whiskers? I think it's possible. I don't think that's what's going to happen. How would you prefer the series to end? How would I prefer it to end? I really want them to end on the why the long face thing, just because it's such a perfect line to end on. I usually enjoy happy endings more than I do sad ones, but I think for BoJack Horseman, I would probably enjoy a sad one more. But I don't think it should be completely sad. Man, I feel like, I don't know, maybe if somebody, maybe Mr. Peanut Butter's really faced hardship, and then like things start looking up for BoJack really well, and then he found out Mr. Peanut Butter did the deed, and then he walked into a bar or something like that. It's upsetting to say because I don't like wishing for sad endings. I feel like a bad person when I do that. I know it's kind of ridiculous, but it just is what it is. Do you think BoJack is a redeemed character by now? Redeemed? He was never a horrible, like a scummy character to me. The character you just hate. Like, that would be more like Beatrice. Everybody hates Beatrice. So I don't know if he is a character that can be redeemed. Because we never saw him as this scummy character. Yeah, he did scummy things, but we never saw him that way. We just saw him as a human making bad choices. Or somebody who is very human, not a human. Somebody who's very human making bad choices. Bojack said that his dad resented his mom because she was rich, but that's not really a full reasoning. Well, yeah, plus it's just Bojack's logic. I did see an interview with the creator saying that they left it on a note where they could continue, but still gave it a sense of finality. With no plans to continue it soon. Okay. As long as it has a sense of finality. Like, that's what I want. Because Gravity Falls did the same thing. Gravity Falls left on a note that said, hey, if we want to, we can come back and revisit this series, but we're still going to make this feel like the final episode. My only issue with a sad ending is the fact that so many people see themselves in BoJack Mr. Peanut Butter, so depending on how bleak the ending goes, what will that do to us as viewers? Yeah, a lot of people use their shows to justify their worldview. So if the show tells them to go down a certain direction, they could feel that way. Do you think that Hollyhock will love BoJack even after knowing about the Penny thing? Yeah, Hollyhock. I don't think there's anything that can happen where Hollyhock will leave BoJack, because he told her straight up how horrible a person she was, and she continued to stay with him. Throughout their time together, he told her how horrible a person he was. He even demonstrated how horrible a person she was. And she originally left him, but he apologized. And that made her stay on side. So I don't think there's anything you can do. We'll see, but I don't think there's anything you can do with Hollyhock to make her leave. I think PC will leave BoJack last. Mr. PB already had a somewhat damaged reputation and will have Pickles perspicacious pickles pack. We'll have Pickles perspicacious pickle pack to ponder over, whereas PC can spin just about anything in her favor. She can, but not with other agents. Vanessa Gecko sees through anything PC says. Do you think they'll frame the last season as a court drama, parody-wise, new lawyer character? I hope not. What do you think about Diane taking antidepressants? Oh, yeah. I think for her character it shows growth, because Diane was constantly doing things that she was constantly showing she wasn't ready to look for happiness. The antidepressants was a sign that she was willing to look for happiness. She was willing to try happiness. And I think that's really good for a character. A lot of people were saying, she got fat and that's bad for her. Yeah, being unhealthy in any way is bad for you as a person. But I think for the character, it's a major step that she took the antidepressants. She can, if we're speaking person-wise, yeah, later she can work out as a person how to both be happy mentally and be healthy physically. But I think just her taking the antidepressants was a big step for her character. Two ways Sad Dog ends up. People get angry. Mr. PB lied about being sad or get bummed. Lying to himself about being happy. Plus Pickles gets pregnant. And it's not his kid. And she wants to keep it. It's not his kid and she wants to keep it. The other reason I think PC will leave last is because all the characters, I believe she was the first person to stick by Bojack from the beginning. She's been with Bojack the longest? Well, you could say Mr. PB has, but that's because of Mr. Peanut Butter's booze, which again is not an episode I like. The thing with Hollyhock is she didn't know Bojack did those kinds of things with underage teens, maybe that could change her view. Well, what's her face? Penny's not underage, but I see what you're saying. It could change her view. It's just, from what we know now, I don't think there is much that could really change Penny's view. You think there's going to be an episode like Free Churro in this season? I hope not, because Free Churro was such a good thing. I think its uniqueness helps it stand out. So I would like a unique episode, but not a unique episode in the same way Free Churro was. It might not go that way, but that's just my suspicion. Any theories about Todd and his family, specifically his relationship with his mom? I don't have really much theories. Todd's whole thing threw me for a loop because they were trying to say, he has this thing with his dad where he's adopted by his dad. He's not actually Hispanic. I thought he was Hispanic. And for some reason, he has a relationship with his mom where he won't talk to her and she won't talk to him. So that whole thing threw me for a loop. Will Gina take revenge? They would make me dislike Gina immensely if they make her take revenge. It makes sense to her character, but the whole thing was Bojack wanted to come clean. And if she wouldn't let him, and so he was like, well, after this, can we at least talk about it? Which she should have done. But no, she didn't want to. So there's not much more Bojack could have done about that situation. Because he wanted to come clean, she wouldn't let him. He wanted to talk to her so she could get some catharsis. Or rather, so he wanted to do it so he could get some catharsis. But it would have given her catharsis, but she didn't want to do it. So if she goes out and takes revenge, it will make her seem extremely unlikable, even though it is within her character. But was Diane depressed in a clinical sense? She wasn't. Did you notice any symptoms besides her negative thought? Well, people were saying for a long time that Diane was depressed. She was not. She was not. What's the word I'm looking for? She specifically said she wasn't clinically depressed. Like, it was a psychiatrist telling her she was depressed, not a biological doctor. Do you think Gina will be the one to say something about what happened, or do you think Bojack would finally be the one to come clean after stuff comes to light? I think Paige is going to be the first one to say what happened, and I think she's going to approach all of Bojack's people, and they're all going to come and give their 2 cents. On the subject of Hollyhock, all she will know right now is about the alcohol. I don't think Pete Repeat knows what Penny went through. He might. It'll still come out, but the first issue is the prom. I feel like it would be in character for Hollyhock to get Bojack's side of the story. Like, she'll come at him angrily and be like, "Did you get a young girl drunk?" But then she'll calm down a little bit, and then she'll want to hear the whole story. Pete Repeat made that whole story so much worse. I mean, what Bojack did was bad, yeah, but he made that story so much worse because he said he practically forced us to drink it. And Pete Repeat completely resolved any responsibility he had. So Diane should tell good news for her moral and her audience. People won't care about greedy CEOs and politicians destroying the world if she keeps telling how horrible everything is. There's a select audience that will. There's a select audience that feeds on the negativity of the world. This is the audience that Diane is perfect for. That's why she was perfect for Girl Crush, because they're attracted to those kinds of sites. How upset would you be if the reporter were just a red herring and didn't add up to anything like the birds with the Serlin picks from season 1? That would be that would be really upsetting. The yeah, I would be very upset. It's too much of a heavy lean, and I would feel betrayed if BoJack Horseman did that. What do you think about the politics in BoJack Horseman? Oh, that's a thing. Okay, so here's the thing about the politics. I'm on YouTube. YouTube doesn't like when you talk politics. They don't. That's why I've been avoiding talking about certain episodes. And I had a breakdown in my last live stream. I was so sick and tired. I can't give my opinion on anything politically related, but I review adult cartoons which love to throw politics in there. So I have to avoid certain topics. The show is obviously left-leaning, though. And for the most part, it doesn't affect the story too much, but sometimes it does. Like I've said before, I don't feel Mr. Peanut Butter would not want a child. He is the type of person who wants any kind of relationship, and we saw he's good with kids. I don't think he would not want a child. I think he would want a child and not understand what that means. The same way he doesn't understand how you're supposed to behave to the person you're married to. He wouldn't understand what it means to be a father. But because this is a left-leaning show and they don't want to have that kind of conflict brought in, they're just going to say he also doesn't want a child. Could Pickles get pregnant? She probably will. I kind of find it concerning for Diane to take antidepressants if she's not depressed in a clinical sense. I hope they come back to this cause, because taking pills is not an answer in that case. Well, it's like Diane said last season, doing this one thing is not a cure-all. It's just a step in the direction. That's what I'm saying. That's the episode they revealed, Acidus, that Mr. Peanut Butter didn't want kids. And because they didn't want to have that life versus choice debate, they would rather just say this is an episode about people who do choice, and they'll just frame the life people in the background as the rioting people. I think that's why they gave him that character trait, rather than it being natural to his character. Mr. Peanut Butter couldn't handle disciplining his child. Yeah, I don't think Mr. Peanut Butter would be a good father. I think it's just natural that his character would want to be a father. Holy dongles! There's a lot of people. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the chat. The chat view. I just glanced at the chat viewers. Welcome everybody who's recently joining the chat. We've completed discussing the whole Dr. Champ thing. If you want to bring it up, you can, and I'll answer questions. We're just doing the usual thing at the stream where we're just talking, basically. I'm just answering questions in chat. Out of the 5 main characters, who is your favorite and least favorite overall in this series? The 5 main. Princess Carolyn is my favorite of the 5 main. I hated Diane for the longest time, but season 6 has kind of warmed me up to her. So I'm gonna say Todd, but that could easily change. I'm gonna say Todd is my least favorite just because he's the least interesting. What's Mr. PB's breed? He's a lab, I believe. A golden Labrador. Which minor character would you want to see in part 2? I want a good chunk of them to just make a brief cameo, just so we get the feel of wrapping up their characters. Wanda can come in and say something about how she felt after Bojack left her. What's the dude's name? I was about to call him Businessman. I can't remember his name. The 3 kids that were stacked on each other. They would probably be teenagers now. I would just like to see a cameo from them. They don't need to have a really deep moment or anything. But all the minor characters, I would like to have one last appearance before the end of the season. Just to get some closure. Todd and PB need their own show. I don't think so. Todd and PB work because they're bouncing off of Bojack. And they're bouncing off of serious characters. They're they're comic relief basically. They bounce off of their because there are other characters who are serious and take the situation seriously. Todd and Mr. Peanut Butter come off as way more entertaining. What if in trial Mr. Peavy confesses that it was Bojack who stole the D? Bojack has always been a supportive friend. I saved his life once, and he helped me get... Vincent Adultman, yeah, that's his name, Vincent Adultman. I'm so nervous about what's going to happen to Bojack when they come back from the break. Consequences of actions really don't care. If you've already learned and grown from those actions. To you, I've discussed this before when I was talking about Starlight Glimmer. Society, it matters to society. Ralph needs a proper closure, and season 5 did him dirty. Ralph. Oh, yeah, Ralph. I was trying to remember who Ralph was. Yeah. I sometimes get Ralph and Rutabaga confused. Is Princess Carolyn currently a good mother, or was the adoption a mistake? The Princess Carolyn mother thing, it has me somewhat... I sigh. Because I know people who, they just love being mothers. Like, it is their life. They love children. They love taking care of children. So, to hearing Princess Carolyn say she loves her child, but she doesn't love taking care of it, and she doesn't know what to do about it, that was a head scratcher for me. I know how I felt about that. Now she loves taking care of her child. That's why she's taking every third Friday off. But when she originally started, she didn't. You think Wanda would support him? I honestly don't know. I think Wanda would seek the truth. Because she knows how Bojack can be, but she also knows how the media can be. I still like to believe that it wasn't 3 kids under a trench coat, but rather his mom and him working together. We've only ever seen Vincent with his mom after all. I would just like to see, not Vincent, the actual kid, just, him saying something like, oh, I once dated a cat lady, or something like that. I wonder if the show plans to pull the rug out from under us by building up to a huge media blowout, only for another huge controversy to distract everyone, albeit not immediately. I don't want the rug pulled out from under me. They've built up this consequences too much. I need it to happen. What's your opinion on people saying that Bojack will die at the end? I personally don't think that's going to happen. I don't like the idea of it happening. But yeah, I think there are ways they could make it happen as long as it's poetic, as long as it does justification to the character. I could see it happening. But it will ruin my ending. One thing I want to happen is Bojack walking into a bar and the bartender saying, "Why the long face?" And then like somebody in the chat says, the theme song starts playing. Back in the 90s. It would just make too much sense. What happened to Vincent anyway? The last we saw of Vincent, unless he appeared in the background somewhere, Princess Carolyn dumped him because he was being way too complicated for her. It was in season 2, after the party. It's a real feel. Being a mother is tiring and takes over your life. Lily from How I Met Your Mother also said something along the lines of, sometimes I feel like I don't love my baby. I'm just saying I didn't know how to react to it. Because the people I know who are mothers, they love being mothers. They don't just love their kids. They love taking care of their kids. They love that their kids need them to do stuff. And they they fight over who gets to change diapers, basically. I really think they should have kept Todd as the voice of reason, like in season 1. Ticks me off, but it's just a missed opportunity, so I shouldn't just... Well, Diane was the entire voice of reason of season 1. I don't recall Todd being the voice of reason in season 1. How do you think PB will react to the news on Bojack and all the things he's done when it comes out? Like Mr. Peanut Butter does. He won't see the negatives of it. He might be like, oh, my boy Bojack is in trouble, but he won't really think badly about Bojack, and he'll think it'll blow over. What about Neil? He will definitely come out against Bojack. Neil will hate Bojack. As someone who has been in rehab, they portrayed it so accurately that it was almost hard to watch. It takes itself so seriously, but it's also a very sheltered, highly controlled situation. Why didn't PC get the hint of 3 kids under a trench coat? For the joke. It really doesn't make sense to her character, but it was a funny joke and everybody liked it. That's where you have to suspend your disbelief. That she just wouldn't get it. What about the zombie clown dentist clowns? Yeah, those never had a conclusion. Do you think Anna Spanakopita will have a small role in part 2 because she knows about the New Mexico incident? She might offer to protect Bojack, I think. But at the same time, Diane did kind of influence her in protecting other women. So if it comes out that Bojack's being Me Too'd, she might not. She might work for the other side. You don't feel great about the Tess being a mother that way all the time. Do you think Ralph will come back into PC's life? I don't expect to see Ralph again, honestly. I think the show feels it did him justice, even though I don't think it did. I think Mr. Peanut Butter will say the F word to Bojack to stay away from that. Ooh, that would be a hit. Who all has said it? First season it was I can't remember his name. Bojack's friend. First season it was Bojack's friend. Second season, was it Todd? The second season? No, Todd was season 3. Bojack was season 4. I don't remember who was season 2. Who said the F word in season 2? In season 5, it was Gina. Season 6. Didn't somebody almost say it in season 6? Madison H. almost said it in season 6. But she didn't. She switched the words around. Oh, Charlotte. Charlotte said it in season 2. How could I forget Charlotte? And Herb Kazaz said it in season 1. Yeah. Okay. OMG, I hope Spanakopita makes a return. That situation with Diane sort pouring on a woman was definitely foreshadowed, thematic enough to warrant revisiting. I don't think anyone can defend Bojack's actions, even if he has loved ones. If people can defend Bojack, but not his actions. If all this stuff about Bojack comes out and Bojack finds out Anna told Diane what happened, he would leave Diane before she leaves him. I don't think Bojack's in any position to leave anyone, because he knows good and well that he does horrible stuff. Gina's co-star said it in season 6. Gina's co-star? She did? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did. I said she. Gina's co-star was a he. Yeah, he did. That kind of ruined it. Did they do that on purpose? I feel like that's an accident. Maybe Gina left that movie permanently. Sometimes doing the right thing can actually hurt other people, and kindness to one can be perceived as meanness to another in context. I don't even think it's perceived as meanness. I think he just didn't want to accept what was going on. Herb, Charlotte, Todd, Bojack, Gina's dancing partner, dropped the F-bomb. Yeah. Do you think Hollyhock or Diane? I think it would be the strongest coming from Mr. Peanut Butter. Because Bojack has tried so hard to get rid of Mr. Peanut Butter. And now that he's finally accepted Mr. Peanut Butter, for Mr. Peanut Butter to turn around and say the F-bomb, I think it would be strongest coming from him. I'm surprised I don't hear anyone talking about how Anna Bojack with being in charge. Well, that's because the whole gender reversal thing. When it's gender reverse, people don't take it as seriously. They can see it for the joke it is. That was done more so as a joke than anything. And people have an easier time taking it as a joke when the genders are reversed like that. The two reporters, the pig and the human, are going to expose Bojack about Sarah Lynn, and everything will blow up from there with cancel culture and Me Too. Yep. Do you think the photos the birds took of Bojack and Sarah Lynn will come back into play? Oh, that could happen. Yeah, that could happen. Somebody was just talking about how the birds were just a joke, and they were just a red herring and just died off. But yeah, that could come back to play in season 6. Do you think any of the main characters will die other than Bojack? I think it is a high possibility for Mr. Peanut Butter. Would you be Bojack's friend in real life? No, I wouldn't be any of their friends in real life. For one, I am not very social. I'm pretty much antisocial. I know people get mad because antisocial is a mental disorder. There are multiple different definitions to the word antisocial. I'm using it to say I do not like being social. I am against being social. But the point is, A, I'm antisocial. B, I'm very moralistic. I'm a lot like Diane, but I openly admit to my faults when it comes to being moralistic. I don't share the same morals as Diane, though. I'm just like, oh, I think people should act a certain way. But the thing is, if they don't act that way, I don't openly chastise those people. I just stay away from them. That's all I do. I just keep them out of my environment. Diane, though, she'll actively chastise them. Well, yeah, he knows he does bad stuff, but I feel he has grown to a point where he doesn't take what people think of him as seriously, so I think it will be more of an effect on people around him more. Bojack may indeed off himself after having his career ruined, completing his parallel to his hero's Secretariat, who went through a similar downward spiral. See, I don't see Bojack as a parallel to Secretariat. I think they kind of left off on that a while ago. PC is a fine person. I think she could totally be friends with normal people. Who do you think is the most relatable character? I relate most to Princess Carolyn and then Mr. Peanut Butter, but I think either Diane or Bojack. I see a lot of people saying they relate to Diane, and Bojack in himself is just what drives people back to this show is Bojack. Remember the cutaway gag when one of Bojack's girlfriends pushed her child to the nest too quickly? I wonder if Ruthie will... No. Ruthie... That happened because... Well, A, that was a joke. You weren't supposed to take it that seriously. B, that was a bird. Ruthie can't fly. She's not a bird. Hi, I am from Argentina, my friend. Can you say some Spanish words? Hola, lo siento, pero no hablo español. Each character is relatable to different characters. I think most people who watch BoJack Horseman relate to Diane. I personally do. Like I said, either Diane or BoJack. One of those two. What if Charlotte tries to kill BoJack? She's more than likely going to try to kill his career. PC is a fine person. I think she could totally be friends with normal people. I wouldn't call PC a fine person. PC does some underhanded things. She's an agent after all. But just the desire to analyze and do what's right. I relate more to Todd. I don't relate to Todd at all. I don't relate to Todd at all. I actually don't relate to most of these characters very much. It's just PC is the person I relate to the most. And then Mr. Peanut Butter. I think the best ending would be if BoJack goes to prison. You speak very well Spanish. Seriously, congratulations. I took 4.5 years of Spanish, and I still can't speak a lick of it. Maybe someone pushed him off of the planetarium. Maybe. Yeah, somebody... Oh, yeah. That is true, because he does fall backwards. So it could be that somebody legit tries to murder him rather than him jumping off of it. That's a good point, Bendito. Do you think we will have a flashback where Beatrice and Butterscotch aren't bad people to BoJack? No, because we saw when BoJack was a baby, Beatrice started taking drugs and drinking, and that's what made her start behaving that way to BoJack. What's your opinion on Lenny Turtletop? I think he's a fantastic character. He's hilarious. And the thing is, he's supposed to be a jerk. You know, when you got characters who are supposed to be jerks, it's very easy to make them funny. Like, I don't think anybody's going to hate Elijah White Whale, even though he freaking murdered someone. Is it Elijah or Jebediah? White Whale. I don't think anybody's going to hate him, even though he freaking murdered someone. PC's career focused to be a good friend to a YouTuber. PC is way too career focused to be a good friend to a YouTuber. Well, she's starting to get into memes and stuff, so she... The thing about her friends is that she develops friends through colleagues. You become one of her colleagues or one of her employees. That's how she starts to become your friend. She's friends with BoJack, Todd, and Diane all through work. And Judah too, all through work. Hey, I know you mainly do adult cartoons, but I was wondering if you'd be interested in making videos about a live TV show like Community. A live TV show like Community. It's very creative and seems like it's up your alley. I might check it out. I mainly do adult cartoons because that's what people request. Um, and I try to balance out because there are a lot of things I want to do, and they're not even all TV related. Like some things I want to do have nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. So, but it's basically I have to balance out between what I'm known for, what people want, and what I want to do, and I have to balance all those out. Would Penny and Hollyhock still meet? Perhaps a trial or a media invasion. I hate White Whale. How dare you? I mean, I think White Whale is just a funny character, you know. Do you know what borderline personality disorder is? And if so, do you think Bojack is a representation of it? I have borderline BPD, and I show people BJHM to explain it and get. Why did I read the acronyms? And give examples of how it looks in real life. I've heard of that. I don't have an exact definition of it in my brain right now. I could easily look it up. I don't think Charlotte is capable of murder. She wasn't even up for infidelity. I think Diane would take White Whale down by disguising the dumb business practices that caused them to lose money as a nice humanitarian company. I mean, it's like for one, the if they do that, it would make customers want to buy more. Like Diane likes to take these big people down, so it stops people from coming to them. But with a company like White Whale, it's so big that either you stop customers from coming to it, or you stop other companies from being interested in it. But either or has the reverse effect on the other side. So it's pretty much no way to stop it. Oh, what if Diane is affected by what Bojack goes through and ends up writing a book because of that? Another book. Which, by the way, the title of Diane's book should be One Last Thing. I was so mad when she kept reading the title after saying One Last Thing, and then I'll shut up about this forever. A documentary on blah, 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 blah. What do you think about Bojack sleeping with... I hate that. I think that one moment with Bojack sleeping with Sarah Lynn ruins what their relationship has established. I love the dynamic relationship, the relationship between Bojack and Sarah Lynn. The fact that he's like a father figure to her. She's influenced so heavily by him. I just hate the fact that they threw that little tidbit in there. Because I'm pretty sure they threw that in there. Yeah, it's not even a pretty sure. I know they didn't have season 2 in mind when they wrote season 1. Because they said when they were writing season 2 that they wanted to do stuff differently at that moment. So I know that they didn't have that in mind. So it's not their fault. They were just trying to show the realisms of Hollywood. Or of Hollywood. But I can't stand it. I can't stand that they went that route with her. I think it's such. I think anyway. I already said. I didn't like it. What video ideas do you have in mind after the second part comes out? What people don't understand is, for years, I have had so many ideas in my head for videos, for other projects, etc., etc. The main thing that's driving me to try to make YouTube my main job is that with YouTube, you get a lot of spare time to pursue stuff, to pursue other goals. Like, you don't get that with a regular 9-to-5 job. So I want to make videos. I want to make games. I want to make apps. I want to make animation. I have so many ideas. But to answer your question, I have a couple of skit ideas I want to do. I've been watching a lot of skit videos, and they just seem like so much fun to do. But I will probably put them on my second channel, which, if you guys remember, I started a second channel because this channel got deleted last year. It's just been sitting there doing nothing. But yeah, I kind of want to do skits, but I would put them on my second channel because I don't want the videos on this channel to... I know people come to this channel expecting certain videos. For the 11th episode, I want to see Bojack sob in front of everyone and left with a quiet cliffhanger. Oh yeah, because he doesn't cry in front of people. That'd be interesting. Charlotte said she killed Bojack if he came back and hadn't pursued him since season 3. Moreover, I interpret it to be more about the seriousness of the threat, not the reality. What if the trial Bojack chastises Sarah Lynn's mom for forcing her into child labor and mentions her last words, I want to be an architect. that could have some. Yeah, Bojack knows a lot about Sarah Lynn. So, you think PC will have a significant other like Ralph? No, I think they're done with that. I think they're done having any romantic relationships with PC. Or do you think they will walk with the independent woman can't have it all? Well, no, I think they're saying she can have it all. She just has to work extremely stupidly hard for it all. Um, I'd love to see skits. I would love to see skits too. That's kind of why I did the This Is You watching BoJack Horseman, because I was getting into skits at that time, and I still want to do them. It's just things are settling down. The channel is growing pretty significantly, so I have to watch a bunch of different things to see where a bunch of different things go. But that's why I'm probably after the new year I'm going to start doing skits on the other channel, because I'm not really worried about that channel. What do you think will happen to BoJack's relationships with the other main characters by the end? I think before the end, it's going to put a strain on most of his relationships with them. I don't know if by the end they will forgive him. Sorry, I don't know if you can do skits. You don't know if I can do skits. You don't know if I can do skits. All right, you got a point. Sarah Lynn had a great point about child labor and working on TV as a child star. Not sure how that's legal either. It is legal because how child labor laws work is that you cannot deny the child an opportunity they would otherwise have growing up in a non-labor society. This is true for farmers as well. So basically, for example, education. You cannot say, hey, you can't have an education because you got to go to work. So, what most people do is they homeschool a child. Shady Do-Rags, what is your Shady 2 Rags is what your second channel should be called. I was thinking about that. I thought about that too. Shady 2 Rags. I did think about that. I was like, it's so perfect. The problem is a lot of people type in Do-Rags with a U to look for me. Like I was shocked because I typed in my own name once and Do-Rags with a U came up and I was like, is there somebody impersonating me? No, they were looking for me. It's just that's another way of spelling do-rags. That's the way most people spell do-rags. I actually spell it the least popular way. Most people spell it with a U or one O. The two O's is like the least popular way to spell do-rags. I was talking about something. Oh yeah, why child labor laws? You don't violate child labor laws if the child gets everything they can still have. So that's why you can make a child an act. If a child gets everything they would still have if they weren't working, basically, their rights as a child. So in America we have rights to education. Children have rights to education. So they would still get that. They should still be able to get that. Also, I think the money is supposed to go to them in some way or form. How will Bojack die? I don't know. I don't think he will die, but there is a possibility that he will. Does White Whale's organ collection a parody of Walt Disney being frozen? Maybe. Listen, White Whale is totally not Disney. They even say White Whale bought Disney. Jeez, stop reaching. Prediction. There will be an episode where Bojack is writing his will. We will hear his thoughts out loud. Probably. That's a good one. Which episode of Bojack made you cry? I don't think there was ever an episode of Bojack that made me cry. And the thing is, I'm a very easy person to make cry. It used to be very difficult to make me cry until I turned I want to say 17. I saw this really emotional movie and it had almost cry parts throughout it. And then at the very end, it made me cry. And then from that point on, it is extremely easy to make me cry while watching stuff. I'm scared about how this series is going to end, and I'm not sure if this series ever really can end in a satisfactory way. Like the show says itself, there is no ending. In reality, life just keeps going on. Well, the show says there is an end. There is always more show. I guess until there's not. So that kind of gives you a prediction of what's going to happen. Not a single one. What's the name of the movie? The movie probably wouldn't make most people cry because it is a religious movie. It was this is a movie. Facing the Giants. That's what it was. It was a religious movie. Facing the Giants, and it just had so many emotional moments in it. But the very last one broke me. But yeah, not a single moment in BoJack really makes me cry, as far as I can think of. And I can't give an exact reason why. Like, I want to say it's because I don't relate to the characters that much, but like that whole thing with PC in season 4, I feel like that should have made me cry. I think PC's character arc is that she needs to learn how to accept help, and I think it will be capped off with her accepting to raise Ruthie with Ralph. I mean, that was her arc in season 4. She needs to understand she can't do everything by herself, and BoJack relieved the pressure on her, but then season 5 kind of slapped that in the face. Can you upload that one stream where you broke down each episode of season 6 episodes so far? I haven't done a video like that. The live stream, if you're asking for a new video of season 6 rundowns, I could make that. I've been debating about it, but since part 2 is going to be coming out really soon, like, it might just be better to wait for. Nobody's going to care about part 1 by then, though. But you sound like you're talking about the live stream, though, that I did. The live stream I did is, like, the only reason I took it down is because the audio quality was just so bad. But I can get you the link for it. If you go to the community tab, the link is there. You scroll down far enough. Yeah, the only reason I took it down is because the audio was just so freaking bad. Let me see. I'm going to find it right quick. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I think this is the video you're talking about. Because this is the only live stream I've taken down. What do you think was Beatrice's actress dancing to her coffin in Gina's song? I'm thinking about doing that, like doing an analysis of Gina's song in season 5. But I haven't put much thought to it, to be honest with you. I honestly feel like the season before the current one, I lost track of the numbers, was just filler. It felt like nothing was accomplished and they were just going through the motions. I didn't feel like they were going through the motions. I felt like they regressed. I felt like the show went back on itself with certain topics. What do you think was Beatrice's actress dancing? Yeah, you asked that. I don't know. I haven't thought about the symbolism behind that song. Mainly because I tried to think about that song, but that freaking balloon gets me. Because it really feels like that balloon is just stupidly vague. Do you think part 2 will begin where episode 8 ended or episode 7 ended? Episode 8. Does he regret not having a connection? Who? Have you watched season 2 of Big Mouth yet? I don't know if I'm gonna watch season 2 of Big Mouth. I really don't want. What people don't understand is I'm a prude. Like, it makes me uncomfortable to watch that stuff. To watch that type of stuff. So, like, there was one more video I wanted to do on Big Mouth. I don't know if I'm gonna do it though. And it's because the video was going to be. There's a very similar episode in Big Mouth, Tuca and Birdie, and Agretzko. And I was thinking about comparing the two. I was thinking about comparing those episodes. I don't know if I'm still going to do that, though, because I didn't like Big Mouth. Again, even if it was a really good, funny show, I wasn't going to like it. I don't think it's a good show, period. I know it's popular for some reason. But even if it was a good show, I wouldn't want to watch it. I keep thinking about this headcanon that Butterscotch actually wanted to be a woman. Sounds absurd, but I have some reason why I think that. Yeah, that is absurd. That does sound absurd. For the moment, I think the balloon can be a sign of God that Bojack made Margot Martindale into a sinner. Why do you think they chose planet and galaxy imagery to associate with addiction in this new season? I know Sarah Lynn died in the planetarium, but even that, I felt like a very deliberate choice. If I'm being honest, I feel like they only did space to represent addiction was because that death moment was in the planetarium. I don't see the planetarium moment was not about addiction. It was about um, it was about existentialism. It was about knowing your place in the universe. Bojack was pretty much saying none of what we do matters because we're insignificant, so we're not lost or something like that. I think the season 5 balloon was supposed to represent Bojack's avatar in the mainstream media and its impact, contrasting the very small man he truly is. Are there any new Disenchantment videos from you coming out soon? Not that I know of. No, there isn't really too much I want to talk about when it comes to Disenchantment. From this point forward, Disenchantment is pretty much just gonna be like kind of like a guilty pleasure because I enjoy watching it, but I don't think it's that good of a show. Like it makes some pretty heavy mistakes, but at the same time, like there were certain episodes I just enjoyed watching. The first season it was hard to get into because they were constantly telling me that Bean was this victim and that she needed to be and that she was the one that we needed to consider. And I was like, you guys are telling me and showing me two different things. Will you do another Love, Death, and Robots video? It's possible. I don't have anything planned. The only one that really made me contemplate life was Zima Blue. Because I still say that's just a really, really good show. It's hard to do anything on Love, Death, and Robots, though, because everything has to be censored. Somebody did a breakdown of what every single short in Love, Death, and Robots represents. It's a really good video. Are there... I read that already. Hi, I just tuned in. Do you think Mr. Peanut Butter and Pickles will stay together by the end of the show? No, and I don't want them to because I don't ship them. I don't think Mr. Peanut Butter is good for Pickles. I think she needs someone her age to grow up with. Or she needs someone who's older than her who has actually grown up. Mr. Peanut Butter has not grown up. Have you seen She-Ra and the Princess of Power? Will you ever review that? I might. When it first came out, I was interested in it. But all the reviews for it, if people liked it, the only thing they were saying was, oh, it's got representation. And there's so many things that people say have representation they're not good. The only thing is they have representation. And the people who were saying it was bad, they were saying, oh, the animation is not good. You know, they were saying actual review stuff. So basically, I couldn't trust the good reviews because all they were saying was it had representation. But now that it's gone on for like 3 seasons, it does seem kind of interesting. Like it could be my cup of tea. But the whole representation thing, like I just don't care about representation. I can watch and enjoy Lord of the Rings. It's a good story. Lord of the Rings is a fantastic movie. I really hope we get like an episode to close the book on some side characters like Vincent and Todd, etc. I don't need a whole episode of story. I just need moments just acknowledging that they existed, kind of closing them off. Other than BoJack Horseman, what other adult cartoons on Netflix do you watch the most? Well, here's something I have to talk about in pretty much every stream. When I look for entertainment, I don't seek out adult cartoons. When I look for entertainment, I seek out Saturday morning cartoons. That's just what my tastes are tailored to. Like, there's a reason I'm reviewing Miraculous, despite the fact that it gets no views. That's the kind of entertainment I'm attracted to. It just so happened that I watched BoJack Horseman because the mysterious Mr. Enner reviewed it, and he said, you know, it was life-changing and whatnot, and even if you don't think this is your type of show, you should give the first season a try. And, you know, I respect Mr. Enner, even though I don't always agree with him, so I was like, you know, I'll give the first season a try. And episode 4, I fell in love with it. So, and the only reason I started reviewing it on YouTube was because there was something that I constantly repeated to people about Diane, and I was tired of repeating myself, so I just made a video so I wouldn't have to repeat myself anymore, and it blew up. So I was like, okay, well, this is what the people want to see. But now, because I'm known for mostly BoJack Horseman, I gotta balance what my audience wants with what I want to do. And a lot of my audience, because I watch BoJack Horseman, they want to see other adult animations. So, I check out adult animations to see if I have something to say. I love literature. I do love literature, so it's really easy for me to watch any kind of show and analyze it from a literature perspective. I'm just not. I'm not tailored to certain adult shows. Have you covered F is for Family yet? I made one video about F is for Family. I wanted to do another, but I haven't gotten around to it. I want to do one talking about Bill. I forgot if I've watched a video by you on that, but I really like the show and would like to see your thoughts on it. I think F is for Family is an okay show. I don't think it's groundbreaking or anything like that. It has its moments. There's a lot of swearing, and if you know me, I don't really like swear. I'm a PG kind of guy. I don't really like swearing too much. Seriously, watch She-Ra and the Princess of Power. I feel like you could definitely make some good videos, especially with the abuse stories. And it is a really good show other than representation. I might consider it. With Christmas coming up, I'll have a lot of free time. So I want to use that free time to make a lot of videos, though, because Bojack is right around the corner. Love your Ladybug stuff, too. Thank you. You are a rarity on this channel. Yeah, I'm well aware the Ladybug stuff does not get a lot of views, but I like doing it too much. But I am switching the schedule so that the Sunday videos are more analytical stuff, more serious videos, and my Ladybug videos will come out on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So you'll be getting 2 videos a week, but the middle of the week stuff will be very shorter videos or less videos that don't take that much time to edit. So that way, everybody's happy. I'd love to see you dabble into your literature background and do some reviews on books or adaptations of books. I don't really have a literature background per se. What happened was I just grew up naturally liking literature, but I didn't know what it was called. I like to analyze characters. Continuity was always a thing for me, but I didn't know what it was called. And when I went to school, I didn't really. I took a couple of basic literature classes. School. When I went to college, I took a couple of basic literature classes, but that was it. All the literature stuff I did was on my own. So I would go and I would read stuff about books. I would read stuff about plot and symbolism and metaphors, etc., etc. Literature was a hobby to me. It was something I was always naturally good at, but it was also just a hobby to me. I went to college for computers. Have you ever considered reviewing, analyzing animated films? I've considered a lot of things. A lot of things. Basically, this year, I was supposed to branch out a lot more. But last year, when my channel got deleted, at that point, I was snowballing. And I was like, yes, in 2019, I can branch out a lot more because I've snowballed. They deleted my channel and they completely halted my snowballing. So this year, the goal was pretty much to get to where I was last year. And I'm finally at that point now where the channel is large enough that I can experiment and try different things. That's why I did that weird video yesterday. I can experiment and I can try different things and see where the audience is going. And then every once in a while, just still deliver what people are expecting. The Wonderful Life of a Small YouTuber. Would you watch Carmen Sandiego on? These are cartoons I wanted to watch, but I didn't have time. Carmen Sandiego and She-Ra and whatnot. I wanted to watch them. I'd tell you, the shows I'm watching right now on Netflix are the ones that I'm constantly watching. Obviously, BoJack Horseman. F is for Family. I'm waiting for the new season. Troll Hunters. I had to take a break from Troll Hunters because I binged the mess out of Troll Hunters. But it started wearing on me, so I had to take a break from it. What's the other one? Oh, Miraculous. Yeah, Miraculous. What's your favorite TV show? Avatar: The Last Airbender. Hands. I burped. Down. No competition. Dragon Prince. Okay, everybody keeps telling me to watch Dragon Prince. So, I feel like I have to watch it. Susie Evans, have you seen Justice League Unlimited? Yes, I have the entire... Hold on, let me go get it. I have the entire set of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Yes, I have seen this show. I freaking love this. This to me, there was a time in the 2000s and 2010s where superhero cartoons were just everywhere. They're still pretty much, abundant, but they were just everywhere. And I was telling people, this right here, hands down, the best superhero series. And I say that as someone whose favorite superhero is a Marvel character. I freaking love Spider-Man, but I cannot deny, this is the best. This is the best superhero cartoon show that has aired. They do the characters so much justice. I can't put on shades because I'm already wearing them. Yeah! What kind of bender would you be in the Avatar Last Airbender universe? I would prefer to be a waterbender, but my personality is more of earthbender, I think. Either earthbender or firebender. Firebenders are about will. Earthbenders are about what are earthbenders? Rigidness. And because I'm such I'm kind of a big rules guy. I'm not that way when I'm online, but since I'm a big rules guy, like outside of my comfort zone, like when I leave my apartment and go out into society, that would probably put me as an earthbender. What draws you to a story? A story and not a show. What draws me to a story is world building. Comedy. If you immediately start off with a very funny joke, you've got me hooked. Foxes. So last year I started playing D&D and I learned about the Kitsune race, and because of that I've recently become obsessed with foxes and Kitsune. But yeah, if your show has a fox in it, I'm going to immediately start. If your story has a fox in it, I'm going to immediately start paying attention. Foxes, comedy, and world building. Those generally draw me to a show. So you can imagine how much I love Zootopia. Justice League and Unlimited suffer from the same silhouette syndrome. Seriously, all of the guys had trapezoid chests, and I can't take them seriously. Funny you should mention that because the opener to Justice League was their silhouettes. So, which TV show was your biggest letdown? My biggest letdown? That's an interesting one. Because I don't know if there are a lot of shows I expect a lot from and they didn't deliver. Miraculous is probably up there. Because Miraculous has so much hype behind it. And I just, I still wouldn't call it a big show. I have a personal bias to it because I've been watching it for so long. And it's a superhero show. And I freaking love superheroes. But Miraculous was a pretty big letdown. My Little Pony was also a letdown. Not that it was a bad show. My Little Pony was not a bad show. My stomach's making noises. My Little Pony was not a bad show. But I was wondering why freaking males my age were loving it. And I thought, when I saw Death Battle, I was like, maybe it's like this superhero show that just happens to have ponies. And if it's a superhero show, I'm going to love it, even if it has ponies. And I went and watched it. And no, it's exactly what it advertises. It's a good show. It was a good show. But I was like, why do people my age watch this? What is drawing them to it? I'm not making fun of anybody's taste. But it was so weird to me that something like My Little Pony caught the attention of males my age. Like that did not seem like something that would catch them like it did. But it did. And I watched My Little Pony for like 6 seasons, so. But yeah, I remember that disappointment I felt when I found out it wasn't a superhero show. BoJack Horseman spinoff. Thoughts? I don't want a BoJack Horseman spinoff. Tuca and Birdie was a close to BoJack Horseman spinoff. It was no BoJack Horseman spinoff, but it was close to it. And I didn't care for Tuca and Birdie that much. Since you like those kinds of shows, have you watched Danny Phantom? Yes. TMT 2012? Yes. If you haven't, so slightly recommend both of those shows. And they're both on Hulu. Danny Phantom is one of my favorite cartoons of all time. Yes, I love Danny Phantom. Season 3 sucked. Was it season 3? Yeah, season 3 sucked. Whichever one he gets the ice powers in. Good gravy. And it was one of the few Nicktoons that got a legit ending, and it did it so horribly. Danny Phantom has one of the worst endings to a cartoon I have ever seen. Good gravy. Oh my goodness, that annoyed me. The Danny Phantom the freaking road trip one wasn't that good either, where everybody found out that Danny was a ghost. That one wasn't that good either. But yeah, that final you want to do a cartoon finale, right? Kids Next Door. Kids Next freaking Door. They know how to do a finale. I love the Kids Next Door finale. Like, it gets so emotional because you've been with those characters for so long, and their deliveries on their last couple of lines are just so good. I think they should have got someone slightly younger to play adult number 5, but Kids Next Door, fantastic cartoon ending. Did you watch Rick and Morty? I haven't seen season 4, and I'm shocked to learn everybody hated season 3 because I quite enjoyed season 3. Do you have ships? What's your OTPs? I have ships, and that is a tough question because I have a lot of OTPs. But let me list some that never came to pass. Ty and Sora from Digimon. That's like my original OTP. Ty and Sora from Digimon. I was so mad that she got with Matt. I was so mad that happened. Some more OTPs. Jack and Kira from... Is that her name, Kira? Jack and Kira from Jack and Daxter. Ashley's fine, but she's not Kira. There's a lot. You would have to ask me on a specific show. What did you think of Invader Zim Enter the Florpus? I loved it. Enter the Florpus was amazing. Did an amazing job at recapturing what Invader Zim did. Gaz is very different. She's not the same Gaz from the show, but I still am willing to accept her because she still played the same role as the original Gaz, which was she was very different from the environment around her. The environment in Invader Zim is crazy, and Gaz is like the only not crazy person in Invader Zim. I hope you do discuss about the themes of Courage the Cowardly Dog in the future. See, this is something that's interesting because obviously, I'm a millennial. I grew up with all those millennial cartoons, but every cartoon reviewer talks about millennial nostalgia. So it's like I'm one of the few channels that specifically targets adult animation. So it's like there are some millennial cartoons I want to talk about, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of I don't want to melt into them, so to speak. Do you watch any live action Netflix originals like Stranger Things or 13 Reasons Why? I refuse to watch 13 Reasons Why. As soon as I heard the premise, I was like, I do not want to see that. And from what I've heard, it's exactly as bad as I thought it was going to be. What do I watch on Netflix? I'll be forgetting sometime. I just saw Green Eggs and Ham. That was amazing. I cannot wait for the next season of Green Eggs and Ham. Bojack Horseman, obviously. Disenchantment. Oh yeah, Disenchantment is a series. Oh, how could I forget Agretzko? Agretzko is a series I watch normally all the freaking time. So yeah, the ones I got are Bojack Horseman, Miraculous, Green Eggs and Ham, Tuca and Birdie, Agretzko, and Disenchantment. Oh, and Troll Hunters. Those are my regulars on Netflix. I look at other stuff. You guys are constantly suggesting The Dragon Prince, so I'm actually going to take a look at that. How do you feel about BoJack ending? I think it's time. I predicted that it would last 8 seasons max. I think it's perfectly fine that it's ending at season 6. Really, you like Green Eggs and Ham? I freaking loved Green Eggs and Ham. Here's the thing. Okay, I didn't know about Green Eggs and Ham before it came out. It just came up on Netflix, and I was like, people are saying that's a really bad problem with Netflix nowadays. They're not advertising anything. It came up on Netflix, and I was like, oh my goodness, Green Eggs and Ham. I'm going to love this. It doesn't matter what goes on. I'm going to love this. Because I had Dr. Seuss books growing up, and Green Eggs and Ham was my favorite. So I knew it was going to capture my nostalgia. Irregardless, even if you don't have nostalgia, it's mind-blowing how good Green Eggs and Ham is. I don't want to hype it up for people because I know I didn't expect much and I got a whole lot out of it. But the animation alone is beautiful. And personally, I got so much more out of the story and the characters than I was expecting. Green Eggs and Ham is amazing. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's extremely good. I've probably just overhyped it, but man, is it good. Let's do your thoughts on Mob Psycho 100. Honestly, most important show in my life. It does a really good job sparking serious decisions while being funny like Bojack Horseman. I've never really heard of that. I can recommend Hilda. I've heard people recommending that. That might be just a good thing to do during my vacation. Just look at a lot of Netflix shows I've been meaning to visit. Hilda was one of them. Dragon Prince was one of them. Will you do aggressive videos before 2019 ends or before Bojack Part 2 comes out? I might do an aggressive video before the year ends. I wanted to do one for a while on this channel, but I collabed with Just a Robot and I did one on his channel instead. But the freaking end, the last season of Bojack Horseman came out unexpectedly. So, like, I'm trying to get, like, a good chunk of videos of that out, and part 2 is going to be out pretty soon, so I got to prepare for that. Could you do reviews on movies? Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't want to do Fantastic Mr. Fox because everyone says it's a good movie, and I didn't like it. Invader Zim, Into the Fortress. I could probably talk about it. Rocko's Modern Life. I haven't seen that one because I didn't grow up with Rocko. I did see Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie, though, because I loved Hey Arnold. A Silent Voice, never heard of it. Your Name. I never heard of a movie called Shady Durex. Charlotte would think the submarine episode was Bojack's idea. Oh, she probably would. Bring back Tuca and Birdie. I mean, I don't think Tuca and Birdie deserve to be canceled, but A, I didn't like it that much. I mean, I agreed that it was a really good show, but I didn't like it that much. And B, the fandom just left a sour taste in my mouth. Because when I did my Tuca and Birdie video, I got a lot, not from people disagreeing with me. You know, people disagree with me all the time. It was just that so many people were saying, Shady, you said this and that's bad. I'm like, I never said that. I never said that. Go rewatch the video. Moral Oral was a cult classic and cut before its prime because of its dark comedy. Yeah, I've talked about this before. Moral Oral is one I would probably be uncomfortable watching. People have told me it's very good quality story-wise. I saw it growing up. And growing up, you know, I've never liked super edgy stuff, for lack of a better term. So I hated it growing up. As an adult, I would probably appreciate it a lot more, but it would still probably make me uncomfortable just because it tackles certain subjects that just in themselves make me uncomfortable. Did you watch Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling? No, I did not because I didn't watch Rocko's Modern Life growing up. Of the original 3 Nicktoons, the only one I watched was Rugrats. What about reviewing Coraline? Never saw Coraline. Just because other channels talk about millennial cartoons doesn't mean you shouldn't. If there's a cartoon you want to talk about, then you should. It shouldn't matter what other channels are doing. Well, that's from the personal artistic perspective, Luna Lovegood. There's also the business perspective of YouTube. And the business perspective of YouTube is that you need to stand out. What makes your channel stand out from everyone else's? This is why it is a horrible idea to become a Let's Player on YouTube. Because everyone does Let's Plays. The market is flooded with them. And it's going to be extremely hard to stand out. So, I think you're right, but like I said, it's a balance. What's your favorite Ben 10 alien from the original 10? Because I only know the original Ben 10 series and Alien Force. Of the original 10, let me list them off in my head. It was Forearms, Ghost Freak, Heat Blast, Accelerate, Wild Mutt, Gray Matter. I'm missing 4. Yeah, I'm missing 4 of them. What am I missing? Forearms, Heat Blast, Gray Matter, Wild Mutt, Ghost Freak. Great, now I'm missing 5. I'm just trying to remember the original 10. Hold on, let me Google that. There's Cannonbolt, but he wasn't the original 10. He was like the 11th. Ah, here they are. Okay, the original 10. Oh, Stinkfly, yeah. Upgrade, yeah, okay. Diamond Head, and I can't remember the fish's name. I can't remember the fish's name. Of the original 10, I want to say my favorite is Diamond Head. Yeah, I want to say my favorite is Diamond Head. Thoughts on Gravity Falls and Adventure Time? I watched Gravity Falls just recently. I watched it all recently. I've seen a couple episodes here and there. The thing about Gravity Falls is it was in its prime when it wasn't complete, because you were solving mysteries, you were waiting for the next episode. It was very fun to do. Having all the episodes in front of you and being able to watch them back to back. A, it's a short series, it's only 2 seasons, and B, you don't get that same hype behind it. It's still a fantastic show, but you don't get that raw hype that it had. Do you watch any Adult Swim shows? Rick and Morty, but I don't watch them on Adult Swim. I watch them on, was it Hulu? Worst show that you kind of secretly like? A guilty pleasure? Worst show? It's a bad show that I like. That's a difficult one. I don't know of any bad shows that I like. I'll have to get back to you on that one. DreamWorks Voltron was a disappointment. Really? A lot of people were telling me to review Voltron, and I put it in the poll, but they chose Big Mouth instead. Greetings to Ham started off really bad, even though it had its moments, really good moments on the whole. I found it stupid and inconsistent with its quality by the end. Oh, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that, Ginger Conquer. I think it started off really well, and I think it stayed the same consistent quality. Have you seen about the Scoob movie? I haven't seen about it. I know it's coming out, or maybe it already came out. But when I saw the advertisement, I was like, this is horrible voice casting. Velma should not sound sexy. Velma should sound nerdy. That's the thing. She should sound adorkable, basically. If they got a sexy voice playing her, Scooby talks way too much. I don't know what they were doing with that. Thoughts on the amazing world of Gumball? It's amazing. Have you ever watched Steven Universe? Yes, I have. I tried to get into Steven Universe. I wanted to catch up with... I wanted to be a part of the Steven Universe fandom. Because I saw a couple of episodes. It was really good. But at the time, I didn't have any streaming services except for Netflix. And freaking Cartoon Network kept spamming Teen Titan Go marathons at me. So I got tired of watching Cartoon Network. Going back to what I said earlier, what did you think of TMT 2012? Probably objectively the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I grew up with the 2007, I think? I don't know, the Kids WV version. But the 2012 one, it has the overall best characters, the overall best plot. But nerdy is the new sexy, which is why it should stay nerdy, not be sexy, because sexy is the old sexy. Did you watch Over the Garden Wall yet? It's super good. What is that? People keep telling me to watch it, and I keep forgetting it exists. Another one is The Good Place, and I'm like, I don't want to see that because everybody spoiled it for me. No, okay, that's why I haven't watched it, because it's not available. Do you like musicals? It's funny you should ask that, because I'm trying to go see Hamilton next year. Now that everything is established, I'm really trying to get, because Hamilton's going to be near my location sometime in the next like half a year, and I really want to see it. I am such a huge fan of Hamilton. It is ridiculous. I know the story despite never having seen the play because I listened to all the songs. If you listen to the songs, you can put together the story of Hamilton, and it's such a good story. Oh my goodness. Why do you think PB stayed in Hollywood? He is from Paradise. He probably went there by accident when you think about it, because that's how he became a star. It was by complete accident. He just wandered into the room. Another music. There are a couple musicals I really like. I've never seen a musical. That's the thing. But I listen to them all the time. Hamilton is one. Wicked is another. I always want to call it something rotten. I think that's what it's called. The one with William Shakespeare and Nick Bottom. Those are like the three I listen to all the time. If you go see Hamilton IRL, you have to do a video about it. I've wanted to talk about Hamilton for so long, but I feel like I would just fanboy over it. That's the problem. Speaking of musicals, the Cat movie looks really creepy. They're naked. A lot of people were creeped out by the Cat movie. I wasn't. Like, I didn't care for it anyway, but I wasn't really creeped out. Honestly, Steven Universe is the biggest letdown for me. The pilot promised something way better than what we got, and the art especially was cooler. Steven Universe came out during a time where cartoons were not doing so well, and I saw the commercials for it, and it was like Pearl, Amethyst, and Steven, and I was like, nope, that's gonna suck. Boy, was I wrong. What do you think would happen if Rick and Bojack met? They wouldn't care about each other. Over the Garden Wall is a fantasy horror cartoon that is finished. 1 season, 10 episodes, and available on Netflix. I just checked Netflix and I didn't see it. Netflix may have gotten rid of it. You know how they like to spontaneously cancel stuff? Cancel. It's already done. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's not showing on my Netflix, so. Steven Universe is the best. Well, I was wrong about how good it was. The thing is, a lot of people who I've talked to who followed Steven Universe, they said that it has its really good moments, but it's okay. I started watching it during where most people were talking about how good it was. Like, with, what's that girl's name? Crap. Not Pearl and not Amethyst, the other one. I started joining where she was fighting the big one, and her song Stronger Than You came out, and everybody was talking about how good Stronger Than You is. I came during that time. That was a time where just everything Steven Universe was just really, really good. You know, like the Mr. Greg episode. That kind of stuff. But then I wasn't able to finish watching it. I always loved Dr. Seuss and Roald Dahl. I have not heard of Roald Dahl. Have you seen Final Space? Season 2 Alright, y'all making me want to go and just watch stuff. Like, all this stuff that I haven't seen that everybody's telling me to go watch. Gina from BoJack Horseman should have her own musical. Her voice actress is probably the singer. My stomach keeps making noises. Have you ever seen Bravest Warriors? It's so... Oh my goodness. Fine. I will just go on Netflix and just watch stuff. You guys are really making me want to just go and watch stuff on Netflix. You think Pickles fans will come after her for being together with PB because PB is friends with Bojack? I think that's a possibility. See, that's the thought process my brain goes. People are going after connections of Bojack and connections of those connections so that it'll put pressure on them to not associate with Bojack anymore. Bojack's connections, they're going to have a hard time severing their connections to him. But their connections, they've all just recently gotten theirs. You know, Diane just got with Guy. Mr. Peanut Butter just got with Pickles. So it'll be easier for those connections to be severed. I'm not sure if it's your thing, but have you heard the Avenue a song? I love that show and the songs are amazing. I have not. If you're looking for Over the Garden Wall, it's on Hulu. Okay, I'll check Hulu later. The problem with Steven Universe is having your cake and eating it too. Well, some people pointed out, and this was even during a time where Steven Universe was like at high popularity, the fight scenes are not that good because the environment generally tends to be flat with the fight scenes. And I can agree with that because wasting your life on Netflix is your new job. Kind of, sort of. Kind of, sort of. See, I try to keep myself diverse with stuff. Really, like my new fascination right now is D&D. I spent a lot of time doing D&D stuff. Did you see Chowder? I did. Chowder was I consider that a junk food show. It was just nice to sit down and laugh at. Infinity Train, please watch. I will consider it. I would just consider all the shows on Netflix. Netflix and Hulu. Should I watch Adventure Time and where can I find it? You should. It's pretty funny. I barely saw it. See, the thing is, between 2000, I went to college in 2010. So during that time, like, the cartoons were not that good. 2010 is when a new era of cartoons started. That's when Adventure Time came out, and the only show I was into back then was Total Drama. At the time, I think it was Action. It might have been World Tour. Or it might have been Island. I don't know. But the only show I was really watching at the time was Total Drama. And from that time to about 2015, I fell out of cartoons. So a lot of the more popular shows nowadays, like Adventure Time, or not nowadays, they're ending now. That generation of cartoons is ending. But like Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Amazing World Gumball, it was hard for me to get in because like I just wasn't doing. I came off of the 28, from 2008 to 2010, cartoons were just bad, and I came from that, and I was getting tired of cartoons. They were just seeming bad to me. And I thought Adventure Time looked stupid. I didn't want to watch it. Gumball looked stupid. I didn't want to watch it. Steven Universe looked stupid. I didn't want to watch it. They all proved me wrong. All of them proved me wrong. Todd has no one to make him cut ties with Bojack. He has that girl who just joined his app. He has Emily, but I don't think Emily would make him cut ties with Bojack. And he has his mother. To be honest, if it's about him deserving to be canceled, I don't know what it's about. I feel like life just flows sometimes. Use Crunchyroll too, please. I really would like to have a few anime reviews. Oh, I'm sorry, David Brosh. Here's the thing about anime. I was into anime so much growing up all through college. It was towards the end of college that I just fell out of anime. The only anime I watch now is Agretzko. But I fell out of anime. And the reason I fell out of anime was because I watched a lot of shonen. And shonen was starting to tick me off. Because the shonen I watched... I was watching 3 shonens at the time. Hitman Reborn. And Hitman Reborn was so slow it annoyed me. Naruto Shippuden. And One Piece. The pacing in One Piece and Naruto Shippuden ticked me off. Oh my goodness. Freaking One Piece went through the dress... I watched the Dressrosa arc in One Piece, and it wasted so much time. It's like 5 episodes waiting for 5 minutes. It's Dragon Ball Z all over again. 5 episodes waiting for 5 minutes to pass. Everybody doing the exact same thing, just wasting time. And Naruto was the final nail on the head. I keep saying that. Final nail on the coffin. It's hit the nail on the head or nail in the final nail in the coffin. You can't say final nail on the head. It's the final nail on the head of freaking Frankenstein where freaking they're doing the ninja war and They go to a filler arc, and I'm like, okay, filler arcs are expected, fine. It's like 20 episodes, it's done. Okay, next episode we can get back to the war, and they start another filler arc. I was done. I didn't make it to the end of the Great Ninja War because of Naruto, because of that. There were two filler arcs back to back, and the other genre I watched was slice of life, and the slice of life animes tend not to get their second seasons. So a lot of the animes I watched just stopped being. So shonen made me not want to watch anime, and then my slice of life animes weren't being done, so I fell out of anime. What could get me back into anime is if Crunchyroll gets the rights to all of the Detective Conan episodes. Because that's still a show I want to go back and watch, but they don't. They only have the rights starting at like episode 750 or something. So that's like for me, I ended on like 650, I think it was. So they were missing like 100 episodes for me. That could get me back to anime. Hunter x Hunter. Somebody commented, I missed it as it went up. Stomach, shut up! I'm trying to talk. Hunter x Hunter is one of my all-time favorite animes. I think I think the original is one of the best animes ever. The remake, it was good. It was good. It cut out a lot of the stuff in the original, but the original didn't need stuff cut out. That was the thing. The original had so much into one episode, and it never felt like filler. It has some of the most beautiful pacing I have ever seen. It's made by the same people who made Yu Yu Hakusho. What are your thoughts on Mr. Peanut Butter's and Pickle's relationship as far as the cheating to get back thing? I can't place my finger on it, but it just seems like a bad way. Yeah, it's just a stupid idea. You shouldn't. There are two dumb characters who came up with a dumb solution. It's going to come back to bite them in part 2. Netflix has some really respectable original animes nowadays. Devilman Crybaby was one. Yeah, Netflix keeps recommending me anime, and I'm like, I'm just kind of tired of it. I watched so much of it growing up. That's the thing. I shouldn't say growing up, but it was like because I did watch Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon as a kid, but it wasn't until like middle school, high school that I really got into anime. But I didn't fall out of it till late college. And I was in college for an extended period of time because I transferred schools. Okay, I'm tired of people saying this stuff about Dragon Ball because it's heavily exaggerated and it's not what it's about. If people seriously complain about it, watch DB, then watch Kai instead. Well, here's the thing. I didn't complain about it originally when it happened in Dragon Ball. It was just part of the experience. But that's always the comparison. I remember when I watched, I asked people, I said, who's the king of filler? Dragon Ball, Naruto, or Detective Conan? And people said Bleach. So I don't think Dragon Ball. I don't see too many. I think most people just say it as a meme because Dragon Ball was one of the first Dragon Ball is one of the animes, and one of the main things about it is that the pacing can get a little tedious. But I don't think people complain too much about it. I think they more so complain about Naruto and Bleach and One Piece with their filler. Do you feel like Diane and Guy will work out? I feel like they will come. They will from how the last season ended, but I'm also unsure due to Diane's past tendencies. I think there's going to be some complications because of Bojack getting in the mix. Okay, you guys, I am so happy that so many people have joined the stream and have come by, but I've actually got to end the stream here. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. This was a lot of fun just talking to you guys about this stuff. I'm going to try to see if I can stream more. I know a lot of people like streams. To me, it just feels like lazy content. I've heard other YouTubers say it too. To them, it feels like lazy content. And it feels like that way to me. But I know people like streams. They like to just have a nice chat with the channel. So I will see if I can try to do those more often. Schedule them. But yeah, I am going to have to end the video here. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. Checking out what I had to say about Dr. Champ and about people disagreeing with me. And your stomach is eating itself. I mean, kind of sorry. Yeah, I am very hungry. And I've also got a couple other things I need to go do. So, and I'll consider you guys as I'll consider you guys' recommendations because now you guys have really got me in the mood to just watch a bunch of stuff. Watch a bunch of stuff on Hulu and Netflix. So if my stomach will shut up, I can get going. All right, but thank you guys for stopping by the channel. And I've said that like 4 times now because I don't know how to end videos. I don't know how to just say, this has been Shady Durags. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye. Has everybody left yet? Can I stop the recording now? Can I at least move my face?